Hey everybody, welcome to the free Amazon FBA course. In this video, me and the rest of my team are going to be showing you how to create a Amazon FBA business. This is going to be everything you need to know in this one video. Now, throughout this video, if you have any questions, let me know, but let me give you an overview of what we're going to go over here. So this is a free Amazon FBA course, like I said. And guys, I want to show you something really cool. Last night, I actually hit a record sales day. So this is the numbers. This actually isn't the full numbers. It ended up breaking over $10,000. But in the last 30 days on Amazon, my business has done over $80,000. I think we're at like $90,000 now. So let me pull it up for you guys live. I hit my Amazon seller account here. Let's see if you guys can see that. So $90,000. I don't know if that's gonna, how I do that. There we go. Maybe you can see that. I'll just refresh it so you can see this is real numbers. So far today, it's been over $3,600, which is nuts. So this method, everything I'm gonna be showing you in this video still works right now in 2025, last 30 days, over $90,000. I'll be showing you the profit, how much profit that is later in this video. But the profit was around maybe like $40,000 from that. So in the last 30 days, I've done around $40,000 profit. So this is what we're gonna go over in this video. We're gonna talk about how to find a product, find a manufacturer, list your product, launch the product, and I'm gonna be answering literally all your questions. First up, we're gonna talk about how to find a product on Amazon. This is called product research. I'm gonna be showing you in depth everything you need to know in order to find a product on Amazon. And then later I'm gonna have Connor, who is one of my partners in my business. He's my right-hand man. He helps me to, we find products for Amazon, we find products, and we'll be showing you behind the scenes how we do everything. Step 2 is how to find a manufacturer. And this isn't that difficult. We're gonna spend an hour going over everything you need to know on how to find a manufacturer, but we've condensed it down. We've made it very simple. I know a lot of times people are unsure. How do you find a manufacturer? Don't worry. If you've ever been nervous about that before, in this video, we're gonna be showing you everything you need to do. Number 3 is list the product. And so this is Carnivore Electrolytes. This is the product that I showed you that's done $90,000 in sales in the last 30 days, which is still crazy to me. I'm gonna show you how to actually create an Amazon listing that's going to crush it. That's gonna make you a ton of money on Amazon. And if you don't understand how Amazon FBA works, don't worry. We're gonna be going in depth talking about that. But let me tell you, I think, and I've seen and I've tested a lot of different things, I think it's the best way to make money online passively. And we'll talk about what that means in 2025. Now, there's a lot of different ways to make money online. There's affiliate marketing, there's drop shipping, there's social media agency. I've tested them all. And I'm gonna tell you right now, as far as legitimate passive income businesses, Amazon is the best. And the cool thing about an Amazon business is you can sell it. So we're gonna talk about how to launch a product, and I'm gonna be answering all your questions. So throughout this video, if you have any questions, leave it in the comments, and me, myself, my team, everyone is gonna go through. We're gonna answer all your questions. So let's talk a little bit about why you should sell products on Amazon. And I got the data to back this up. So let's take a look. E-commerce is growing like crazy. This is Amazon's website, right? Like this is a $2 trillion website. Let's look it up here. In fact, the market cap for Amazon.com is $2.35 trillion. That means that this company is worth over $2 trillion. And what a lot of people don't realize, Amazon allows you to sell your products on their website. So let me go. And the way Amazon works, just so everyone knows, is people come in here, right? They type in what they're looking for. So let's say someone types in carnivore electrolytes, like I just did. People that are looking for electrolytes on the carnivore diet, for instance. Well, what are they gonna do? They're gonna come in here and they're gonna look at all the different results. And I don't know about you, but if you're on the carnivore diet, the one that pops out to me is this product right here. Carnivore electrolytes, this is my product. And you look at all 4 of these are sponsored. And people know that, they're smart, they realize that these are sponsored products. So if you're on the carnivore diet and you're looking for a product, you're gonna click on this product probably, and then you're gonna look at the listing and you're gonna see, oh, is this the right product for me? And you can see that our product right here, we actually recently raised the price. It's $37.97. If you do subscribe and save, it's $34. The reason we raised the price is we're running out of inventory. I showed you the chart. Like we're selling so quickly, it is crazy. This is the numbers right here. Let me go in just to show you that this is real. Let's go to business reports. Let's go to the last 30 days here. Custom. Boom. Look at these numbers. our sales have been, we were doing fine. We're doing over $1,000 a day, close to $2,000 a day. But in the last, I don't know, 5-10 days, we've been doing like $8,000 a day. Anyways, I just want to show you guys what's possible. Look at it. In the last almost 30 days, we've done almost $100,000 in revenue. And revenue is not profit, but our profit margins on this are crazy. So anyways, that's Amazon. Why sell on Amazon, right? That's what we're talking about. E-commerce is growing. Let's see if I can pull up the numbers here. In 2019, e-commerce, and e-commerce just means people buying things online. It was around $500 billion that was spent in 2019. Fast forward to 2024, last year, $1.2 trillion. And then 2025 is projected to be 1.38. You can see this number is growing every single year. And people always come to me and they're like, oh, it's too late to sell on Amazon. What are you talking about? The numbers are growing every year. These numbers you can see here. So Amazon's revenue so far in the trailing last 12 months was $620 billion. That's how much money is being spent on Amazon.com. I'm just showing you guys why Amazon's a really big opportunity before we get into all the data. So Amazon makes up around 50% of all e-commerce sales in the United States, meaning 1 out of every 2 sales that happen online are happening on Amazon.com. Amazon's projected to do $700 billion in sales on their website this year. So you can see in the last 12 months, it was $620 billion. I showed you in that graph. $700 billion are going to be spent on Amazon's website. And again, as I showed you, you can sell products on Amazon. It's not that a lot of people I talk to, like random people in the street I talk to, they think that all the products being sold on Amazon are being sold by Amazon.com or are being sold by like Nike or these big companies. No. $700 billion is going to be spent on Amazon and you can get some of that money. Amazon has more than 200 million Prime customers worldwide. In the United States, there's 180 million Prime customers. That means like 1 out of every 2 people is a Prime customer. So I say all this to say that Amazon is a crazy opportunity right now. There's the opportunity for you to make a lot of money, and there's a lot of ways to make money online, but let's talk about Amazon. And for anyone that's new to the channel, my name's Travis Marziani. I am a 7-figure Amazon FBA seller. In fact, I think I'll show you, I've done over $7 million in sales on Amazon. Remember, that's not all profit, but I've done a lot of profit. I've made millions of dollars in profit. And I'm not saying any of this to brag. There's always this conundrum when I'm telling people about how big of an opportunity this is, because I don't want to come off as like braggy of like, look how much money I've made. But at the same time, I want to be like, look how much freaking money I've made. You can do it too. That's the whole reason why I share how much money I've made or how successful I've been, is because it's like, I'm not special. I have a formula. I'm going to be teaching you the formula throughout this video. I have a formula on how I launch products. You can see behind me, like these are some of the products that I've launched. I'll be grabbing these. These are some of my students' products. I've taught a lot of people. I think I've taught over 2,000 people how to sell on Amazon. There's a formula on how to do this, and you're going to learn that formula throughout this video. So let's go back into here. And by the way, again, see, there's always this balance when teaching things. This photo was taken in Sayulita, Mexico. I actually bought a house that's on the beach in Sayulita with the money that I've made cash. The thing about when you buy property in Mexico is you can't get a loan. You have to buy it cash. I bought cash a property in Mexico, and that's freedom. The reason I bring this up, again, not to brag, not to whatever, it's to get you excited and show you what's possible. That house that I have in Mexico, I could go retire. I could retire right now, live on the beach in Mexico. Sayulita is a cool area. It's by Puerto Vallarta, and if I wanted to, I could live in paradise for the rest of my life off the money that I've made. Now, I'm not doing that. I've chosen instead, I live in Santa Monica, which is also, I live right across from the beach here. Again, don't mean to brag here, but it's freaking amazing. My life is really cool. It's more cool than I ever thought. I'm making more money than I ever thought I would make. I'm living a better quality of life than I ever thought I would. And I'm saying all this because by starting an Amazon FBA business, by starting an online business in general, you're able to get freedom in your life. Now, there's a lot of different online businesses. Throughout this video, I'm going to be showing you why I think that Amazon FBA is the best and easiest way for a beginner to start making passive income online. So before we go any further, if you have not yet, hit the like button. And in this video, I'm going to be showing you how to sell on Amazon. From beginner to expert, I'm going to be showing you in this video how to go from, A to Z, step by step, beginner to expert. Like literally, I'm gonna be spoon feeding you everything I wish I would have known. So this is what I recommend. This is how I recommend you guys consume this. What I would say is feel free to take some notes if you want, but mostly what I recommend doing is watching this video, relaxing, sitting back, and coming back. This is all gonna be recorded and we're gonna post it on my channel. So come back the second time to take notes. Don't stress. One of the most important things that I've learned when it comes to learning is relax. Take your time, soak in the information. I purposely created this entire video to be as easy to understand as possible. So if there's a point where you're confused, don't worry. I probably did that on purpose because I'm going to be explaining later in this video how to do this. And right now what I'm going to be doing is giving you an overview on how to sell on Amazon, but then I'm going to be having Connor, who works with me, and Cam, who works with me, come in, and we're going to be talking about everything in much more depth. So I'm going to give you like a 5-minute overview of how to find a product. Then Connor's going to come in and spend an hour with you finding products live. I'm going to give you a 5-minute overview of how to do manufacturing. And then Cam's going to come in, who's an expert at finding manufacturers, and help you and show you how to find manufacturers. You can always come back and slow it down to 0.5. I talk fast. I know I talk fast. So if you need to slow it down to 0.5. On the same hand, some people are speed learners. You can always come back later and put this at 2x. Again, this first time, sit back, relax, and let's watch this video. There will be timestamps after the fact down below in the description. So this video is going to be everything in one place. I just released a 10-hour video. I'll put a link to that down below. I would check that out as well. So let's talk about like how you should learn Amazon. And this is what most people are doing. They're doing it the hard way. Most people are spending hours by themselves, hundreds of hours trying to figure out how to make money. I was there, man. I was one of those people. I quit my corporate job. I'll get into my story later, but I quit my corporate job over 10 years ago. And for years, I struggled trying to figure out how to make money online. I was sitting in a room by myself for 8 hours a day trying to figure it out. Most people, when trying to make money online, when trying to start an Amazon business, they make mistakes that cost them thousands of dollars. Most people end up struggling and maybe even giving up. There's a better way to learn how to sell on Amazon. That's what we're going to be doing in this video. Here's the better way to do anything in life. If you want to learn something new, step 1, find a mentor. Again, guys, doesn't have to be me. There is a lot of Amazon gurus out there. There's a lot of people teaching you. If you don't like my style, that's fine. Find someone else. I've met and worked with a lot of the other Amazon gurus out there. There's one in particular, I won't say his name, who is, how do I say this? Not authentic. Let's say that. I met this guy and he told me that this was before he launched his program. He's like, anyone that has a program is a scammer. They're just trying to take people's money. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I've spent thousands, if not tens of thousands of my own, I've spent over $10,000 of my own money taking in programs, learning from people. Anytime I need to learn something new, I hire a coach. You guys may have heard this story before, but I wanted to learn how to surf. I live right across from the beach. So what did I do? I didn't just go out on my board and paddle around and try to figure it out. I prepaid for 10 surfing lessons and I hired a mentor to teach me how to surf. And I learned within 10 lessons. And I actually had tried before to learn on my own. It's very hard to learn how to surf on your own. It's much easier with a mentor. And let me tell you something right now. Starting an online business is a lot harder than learning how to surf. And so if you would hire a mentor to learn how to surf, why would you not hire a mentor to learn how to sell on Amazon? You want to be like a laser. When you're trying to make money online, when you're trying to start a business, your goal is to be focused. A laser breaks through barriers. Trying to make money online, you need to break through barriers. You need to be that laser. You need to be directly focused. So what happens is a lot of people bleed out their energy by watching a bunch of free content. And one day they're going to be trying drop shipping. And then the next day they're trying Amazon FBA. And then they're trying Kindle Direct, whatever. They're trying all these different things. And even if they're just trying to learn how to sell on Amazon, if you're trying to learn from 10 different gurus, then it's going to make life very difficult because one person says one thing, another says another thing. But when you have an Amazon program, when you join an Amazon program, when you watch a video like this, and look, you don't have to join my Amazon program. This is a free video. I'm doing this for you because I want to see you succeed. So when you have all that knowledge in one place, it allows you to focus and become the laser. But one of the benefits of my Amazon program, and I think a lot of other Amazon programs may have this, but I know that mine does, is you get a support network. You don't want to try to do this by yourself. I tried for years to just start my business by myself. I started my success, what do you call it, like hockey sticked? I started having way more success as soon as I joined a mastermind, as soon as I started surrounding myself with other Amazon sellers. And that's something that we offer in the program. So I'm going to teach you the Amazon FBA formula. I call this the passion product formula. You'll see why I call it the passion product formula throughout this video. So my big question to you is, do you want my help selling on Amazon? If the answer is yes, obviously keep watching this. I want to share with you guys some people that have gone through the program. AJ, you may have, if you haven't seen his story, I've got videos on my channel. AJ First year did $600,000 revenue, $240,000 profit. He sells cocktail cards. I actually partnered with him on this business. Cocktail cards, it's up there. We got Brent. I've done videos with him on this channel. If you haven't watched it, this is one of the best videos I've done. He's done, in his first 2 years, he did $1.7 million in sales, $500,000 in freaking profit. Crazy story. If you don't know his story, he is a first responder, or he was a first responder helicopter pilot, had 2 kids. He's like, I don't have a lot of time. I've got this great idea. Travis, can you help me to launch this product? So I said, yes, join the Passion Product Formula, join my program. I will help you to launch this product. And look at that, $1.7 million in sales, $500,000 in profit. Calvin, he's got that product up there, $400,000 in sales in his first year, $100,000 in profit. All right, guys, let's get back into the training program. Does Amazon FBA still work? I've been talking about this at length, right? I showed you guys the numbers. For anyone that's new, let's see again if I can show. Let's see if it's updated. Yeah, so let's see if it shows up there. I don't know if you guys can see that. That's in the last 30 days. We've done $3,300 in sales today, over $90,000 in the last 30 days. Here's the old numbers. This was from, I made this PowerPoint, actually my assistant made this PowerPoint last night. So yeah, we did around $88,000 in revenue in the last 30 days, $45,000 in profit. So guys, this is a proven system. Here's some of the success stories you've seen on my channel. Let me show you guys this. If you want proof whether this works or not, go to my YouTube channel. Let's click here, go into playlist. I try to update this all the time. Amazon FBA success and failure stories. So this was actually an interesting one. She was not a student. She watched my YouTube channel, but she didn't actually ever join my program. Watch that video. This is a good warning story. She talks throughout like that she wished she would have joined my program. But look, even though I know a lot of times these thumbnails are like failure stories, but they're actually not failures. If you actually watch the video, most of them end up having a ton of success. Here's another student.
First step to starting.
This video is going viral right now. This is a student in my Amazon FBA program. Honestly, they didn't have a huge success, but they're making passive income. So anyways, go here, go to this playlist. I've interviewed over 70 Amazon sellers. You can see that this still works, and this is a proven system. So I know this is controversial. A lot of people are not gonna like that I say this, but Amazon FBA is passive income if you're doing it right. Most people do it wrong. I'm gonna tell you right now, I've interviewed a lot of Amazon gurus, and most people sell on Amazon the wrong way. We're gonna be teaching you throughout this video how to sell on Amazon the right way. The cool thing too is you can create a business and you can sell it. I sold my previous Amazon business that I'll be talking about later in this video for a deal that, at least at the time, I thought was worth $1 million. Turns out it ended up not being. That's a longer story. But yeah, I've had a lot of friends that have sold Amazon businesses for over $1 million, and you can absolutely do that. So let's talk about how Amazon FBA works. FBA stands for Fulfillment by Amazon. This is where you send the products into the Amazon warehouse. So Amazon, you've probably even seen them. Amazon has warehouses all over the country. And the reason they do this is so that they can get products delivered to Amazon customers within 2 days. So the way that Amazon FBA works is you send the products into the Amazon FBA fulfillment center. So let's say I have like 2,000 units of carnivore electrolytes. I have my manufacturers send those 2,000 units, they deal with all the shipping. They send it into the Amazon warehouse. Amazon stores your product. When a customer purchases your product, Amazon picks, packs, and ships your product out, and Amazon delivers it. So let me walk you through it this way. If you want to buy a product of mine, I'll show you another product of mine to buy. Don't buy carnivore electrolytes. Instead, actually I did this recently, sugar-free electrolytes. We just recently launched this product. We didn't do a great job launching it. I'm gonna put this, if you guys want to try, and this is very similar to carnivore electrolytes. It's a little bit different formula, but it's just sugar-free electrolytes. If you guys want to try out a really cool electrolyte product, it's at a huge discount. Check this out. And the reason I'm saying that, let me back up. I'm trying to explain how Amazon FBA works. So we sent 1,000 units of sugar-free electrolytes into the Amazon warehouse. When you at home go and you click buy now, what happens is we don't do anything. Amazon picks, packs, and ships the products from their warehouse to you, the customer. It's that freaking easy. Now on the flip side, there's something called FBM, fulfilled by merchant. When we got an order on Amazon, we'd have to pick, pack, and ship the products out ourselves. And maybe that sounds funny when I say it like that. That would just mean that we'd have to ship out the products ourselves. You can tell a product's Amazon FBA because it's Prime. So that's one of the benefits. When you take advantage of the FBA program, it makes your products Prime, which makes it so you will get more sales. Let's talk about what I'm gonna be sharing in this video and what me and my team is gonna be sharing. I'm gonna be introducing you guys in a little bit to Connor and Cam. They are two members of my team. One of my goals for this video, this is a personal goal. When people go to YouTube, type in Amazon FBA, I want this to be the top video. Right now, we have my video right here. This is a good video too. I just released not that long ago. Check this out. If you really are curious whether it's too late to sell on Amazon, go check out this video. I did a 37-minute breakdown of the pros and the cons of selling on Amazon in 2025, how to avoid a lot of the pitfalls. So what I'm gonna be going over in this video is all the different Amazon business models, a new Amazon opportunity. You guys, you've heard me talk about passion products. You may have heard me talk about niche branding, but we're gonna be going in depth about like the latest and greatest ways to sell on Amazon. Private label 2.0. You guys may have heard about private label. Let's talk about the new version of private label, new way to find products, launch strategies, income reports, complete free course. I don't even remember everything I put on here. Guys, there's so much value that we're gonna be giving in this video. We're just getting warmed up. And the reason I'm doing this is because I wanna give more value than anyone else. Like, honestly, no one else gives as much free value as I do, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. In fact, leave a comment. If there's another person out there that teaches Amazon that gives more free value, I would love to know who they are, and I wanna learn from them. Because that is my number one goal, is to give the most value I can. Yes, I have a program. You know how many hate comments I get like, oh, you're just trying to scam people out of money? No, what are you talking about? I give more free value than anybody else. Now, what I've learned over and over again is people that don't pay for things don't pay attention. Look at your own life. Right now, you could learn everything you want ever. My question to you is, why are we not all billionaires with six packs, right? All the information to get a six pack is out there. All the information to become a billionaire is out there. The reason we're not having success, and this is something I'm trying to change in 2025, the reason we're not having more success is because we're not actually paying attention. And so how do you get the human brain to pay attention? This is a hack. This is the highest level hack. What I've learned is you need to hack your brain. You need to figure out how to make yourself pay attention. And one of the best ways to do that is by paying a little bit of money to incentivize that human brain of yours to focus. And so that's what I do. I have private one-on-one coaches for all kinds of things. I have a personal trainer now. And look, do you need a personal trainer? No, but I'm getting better results because of that. And obviously I'm making enough money that it justifies doing that. I showed you guys. Again, I'm kind of giddy. I hope it doesn't come across as braggy. I'm very giddy to see how much money this Amazon business is doing. And here's the secret. Let me show you guys something. Carnivore electrolytes, I made it for fun. I made it so I made a video on my YouTube channel a little while ago. And this video didn't do super well, but it should have. I made this video right here. I started an Amazon FBA business in 7 days. I created carnivore electrolytes literally in 7 days, and I did that so I could make this video and show you guys how easy it is. I thought that carnivore electrolytes was gonna be making like $100 revenue a day. It made 10,000 yesterday. That's 100 times more than I ever thought it would. And that's the opportunity that Amazon is. Okay, so I'm gonna take a break from, again, I'm not trying to brag, but like I'm gonna take a break from, I'm just excited. Like you have to imagine, imagine you started a business for fun. You thought maybe it'd make like $1,000 profit and it makes you $100,000 profit. You just like, you wanna shout this from the rooftops and tell everybody. So let's go over, in this free live video, I'm gonna be answering all your questions. We're gonna be talking about how much time you need, how much money you need, how to start with $0, how long it will take, how much you can make, what do you do, what to do after, what do I do after launch, what can you do after launch, all that stuff. All right, so here's an overview. This is gonna be massive, guys. I'm already getting exhausted talking this much. That's why I'm gonna have Connor come on in a little while and Cam come on in a little, we're gonna like rotate. So I'm gonna do this first section and then Connor and Cam are gonna come on. So I'm doing this first section, this overview. I might talk a little bit about product research, but I'm probably gonna hand it off to Connor. Cam's gonna come on, talk about how to find a manufacturer. I'm gonna come on, talk about how to start your Amazon account. We're gonna talk about social media, legal, Amazon product listing, Seller Central overview, show the back end of Seller Central, how to ship to the Amazon warehouse, how to launch, brand registry and trademark, Amazon PPC, 5 Amazon FBA tips, my top 5 tips, Helium 10 versus Jungle Scout, Amazon FBA fees explained, how much it'll cost to start, how to start with 0, my biggest mistakes, all my mistakes, is it too late to sell on Amazon, how to guarantee success with Amazon FBA. This is, If you guys can't watch this entire thing, come back later at least and watch the Amazon FBA, like how to guarantee success and the FBA success stories, because this is gonna be, how to guarantee success, this is always the most important part. I quit my job in 2013, so I've been doing this for 12 years now. I've learned a lot. I'm gonna just be blunt. I've taught thousands of students how to do this. I'm gonna show you how to guarantee success. So let me tell you guys my story, because I'm gonna show you how I did it, because I'm not special. Like, I think I'm smart, but I don't think I'm that much smarter than you. I'm sure you can figure this out. I think I'm hardworking, but you're probably also hardworking. So again, name's Travis Marziani. For anyone that's new to the channel, make sure to like and subscribe. I had a corporate job. I always, not always actually, I actually didn't start getting good grades until high school. I was always a C student. Then in high school, the reason I started getting good grades in high school was I was a football player. I played football, and I didn't get good grades up until high school because I wouldn't do my homework. I forgot. I was kind of absent-minded. And then in high school, I started playing sports, started playing football. And because I didn't have a lot of free time, I'd get home from 3-hour practice, do my homework, have dinner, watch like an hour of TV, go to bed. And I realized, oh, I'm smart. Like, I didn't think I was smart up until high school. But I always worked really hard. Actually, I didn't even work that hard up until high school. And then I got into a good college. I got a good corporate job. This is me on I literally asked someone on my last day of my corporate job to take this photo. What you don't know about this is I was actually depressed. I was so depressed, and I found this book called The 4-Hour Workweek. Hit a like, leave a comment if you've read this book, 4-Hour Workweek. And if you did read The 4-Hour Workweek, leave a comment on something that you got out of this book. For me, what it taught me was that you can create an online business. You can hire virtual assistants in the Philippines for like $3, $4, $5 an hour to run your business. But in this book, I realized that you can live anywhere you want in the world and run an online business. And if you properly automate it and systematize it, you can get people in the Philippines you can get people to run it for you for very inexpensive. So my goal when I quit my corporate job was to make $300 a day passive income. And I'll talk about how I first hit my first $300 a day. $300 a day passive income is $100,000 per year passive income, roughly. It's a little bit more than that, but whatever. So that's my goal for you. Right now, you at home watching this video, my goal for you is to be able to create a 6-figure profit passive income business. If you have different goals, leave them in the comments down below. I want to see what all your guys' goals are, because I understand that everyone has a different goal. Maybe your goal is to make my new goal, which, I don't know how healthy this is to constantly be doing new goals. My new goal, and I'm pretty close, I'll probably hit this in the next year or two, is to have $5 million in assets, including cash, stocks, real estate. $5 million to me is like enough money that you'll never have to work again for money in your life. And you could basically live off the interest and live really good off the interest. But anyways, I quit my corporate job. I started a dance clothing company with my mom. We weren't selling on Amazon originally. You could still go. This company still exists. bdancewear.com. You can go if you need some dance clothing. If you need some booty shorts, go to bdancewear.com, get yourself some booty shorts. But I struggled with this because, when I read the 4-Hour Workweek, I was like, all right, I want to make money online. I want to create an online business. I want to create an e-commerce website. So I'm like, all right, cool. I'm going to create this dance clothing company with my mom. And we grew this. Like, this company does hundreds of thousands of dollars. I think at our peak, we were doing like 500,000, 600,000, maybe we did close to $1 million. We had 14 employees, but it wasn't very profitable because we were doing all the manufacturing ourselves. Then I heard about Amazon, and we actually launched BeDancewear on Amazon, and it was crushing it. It was doing super well. But then I launched this company, Performance Nut Butter. If you guys haven't seen, I have a bunch of videos on my channel where I break down this. Let's see. They're old. A lot of these, I've since sold Performance Nut Butter. Let's go to popular. If you want to blast from the past video, I did this video 5 years ago, my first Amazon FBA business. You can see here, yeah, we did like $300,000 revenue, I did $300,000 revenue, $100,000 profit. And what was cool about this, I don't know if I go into this in the slides. Yeah, here's the story of that. I didn't have a lot of money to start this company, so I raised $14,000 using Kickstarter. And we'll be talking about this later in this video, guys. Even if you have $0, you can still create your own passion product. You can still sell on Amazon if you follow my formula by doing a Kickstarter, by doing some kind of crowdfunding. Basically with this, what happens is people prepay you for the products that you're going to be selling. So what I did is I cashed out my 401k. I put every last drop of energy, savings, everything I had into this business. I launched this product on Amazon, Performance Nut Butter. And within 2 months, I was making $300 a day. in profit within 2 freaking months. That's how quickly my life changed. And that's why I talk about this. People are always, it bothers me so much. People are always like, oh, all those YouTube gurus, they're just a bunch of scammers. It's like, what are you talking about? I found something that changed my life for the better. I want to shout this from the rooftops. Like, I love teaching. I showed earlier in the slides, Brent and AJ. These are people whose lives, I'm looking right, I wish I could show you guys right now, but I'm looking at a board of success stories right now. I have a bunch of photos right behind the camera of people that have had success with my program. And when I get a little bit sad, when I get a little bit depressed, when I feel like what I'm doing here on YouTube isn't helping anyone, I look at that and it reminds me, people's lives are changing because I'm sharing with them this information. And again, I'm not saying I'm special. What I'm saying is, this way of making money online is special and no one else is really talking about it. So I have to be the one to share it. So let's keep going here. Yeah, this was 3 years worth of income with Performance Nut Butter. Again, this number is actually higher. It's 1.3 million and this should be $400,000. But whatever, in 3 years, I made over $400,000 profit. And I did that while traveling the world. That's the cool thing. Again, guys, this isn't to brag, but like, I don't work that hard. You know, maybe compared to some people, I work hard. I don't know. I'm only working like 10 to 20 hours a week. My goal is to work 2 hours or less a week. Basically, I'm just gonna go on Slack, check some emails, make sure everything's going. This can be you. I'm not special. That's why I talk so much about this, is there's nothing special about me. And the goal, this is supposed to be your Amazon map. My goal, I don't know, this is really goofy. My goal is to give you the map, to give you the formula. The analogy that I always like to use is if you're climbing a treacherous mountain, let's say you're gonna climb to the top of Mount Kilimanjaro or whatever, you can maybe do it by yourself, but wouldn't it be safer and smarter to do it with a guide? And if you're gonna do it by yourself, you better use a freaking map, you know? And so I'm gonna give you the map, or if you want extra help, I'm gonna hold your hand and help you. Again, link down below in the description. All right, so what are we gonna be talking about? We got this is gonna be a really fun day together that we have. We're gonna show you how to find a product, how to make a brand, how to find a manufacturer, create a listing, launch a product. Let me show you guys. You guys may have seen this before in my videos. There's 4 main ways to sell on Amazon: retail arbitrage, wholesale, private label, or creating your own product. Retail arbitrage is where you buy items that are on discount, flip them on Amazon. One thing you can do is you can go to the clearance section in Walmart and you find products that are at a deep discount. Let's see, would be a good one. All right, maybe this would be interesting. So this is being sold for $6.49. Let's see if we can see how much this exact same product is being sold for on Amazon.com. I don't know if this product is being sold on Amazon. Well, there's an opportunity right there. You could buy this product and sell it on Amazon for the full retail price and make a profit because no one else is selling it. So retail arbitrage is finding things that are at a discount. So this is normally $25, buying it for the $6.49 and just flipping it. And the cool thing is you could buy 1 of these, you could buy 10 of these, you could buy 50 of these. Probably couldn't buy 1,000. There's probably a limit on how many you can buy. So that's the first way to sell on Amazon. Next one is wholesale. And this is where you buy items with a wholesale discount. So you email a company like Nike and you say, hey, I want to buy 100 of your shoes, and you can buy them for half off, sell them on Amazon. Boom. And then if you look at Nike shoes, so Nike shoes, let's just take an example of a shoe here. Those are definitely not Nike shoes. Timberland Pro. These, $108, or these $144. You can buy these directly for Amazon for half off using a wholesale discount and flip them. Yeah, private label, we've talked about this before. Guys, if you have questions on this, I've got so many videos on this. I don't want to go into detail about this, but yeah, the best way to create a product is what I teach. And I got so many videos going over the pros and cons. Don't take my word for it. Go watch those videos. So anyways, creating your own product, what are the benefits? Let's go over that. When you create your own product, you can sell it on Amazon, you can sell it on Shopify, you can sell it on TikTok Shop. By the way, Carnivore Electrolytes has been doing $2,500 to $4,000 in sales on TikTok Shop every single day. So that's the benefit of creating your own, when you create a product, a passion product, you can sell it on Amazon, you can sell it on TikTok Shop, you can sell it everywhere. When you do a boring private label, you can't sell it on TikTok Shop or Shopify. So yeah, best way to sell a product, boom, right there. All right, so I'm gonna pass it off to Connor in just a minute here, but let me just give you guys a quick overview of some other things that we're gonna be going over here. We're gonna show you how to find a product. We're gonna be doing product research. I think he's gonna go over the criteria of what we're looking for, but here's a quick version of the criteria. We want high sales, low competition. We want it to be lightweight, brandable. We have a whole checklist. And in the course, when you join the Passion Product Formula, we have an entire checklist of everything that you should be looking for in a product that you're going to be selling on Amazon. We're going to pass it over to Connor. Connor is a product research expert. As a bonus for making it this far in the video already, I'm going to offer you a free one-on-one call with either myself or someone on my team. All you have to do to get that free call is click the link down below. And on this call, we'll talk about how we can help you to launch a product on Amazon. It's a free strategy call. Either way, when you get on this call, you're going to get a ton of valuable information. But if you do want my help, my team's help, and to join the program, we can talk about that on the call. So click the link down below to apply. Not everybody that applies will qualify for a call, but hopefully you will. So click on that link to see if you qualify for a free call. We're only working with the best people that are actually serious about launching products on Amazon. So click on that link and hopefully I'll see you on the free call. And now I'm going to have Connor, who's on my team and helps me find products on Amazon, show you how to find products on Amazon.
We're about to take a deep dive on how to do product research yourself. Usually it trips a lot of people up and it's one of the things that stops people from having success on Amazon. They get too overwhelmed with it, but the thing about product research is it doesn't have to be overwhelming. If you approach it in the right way, it can actually be something easy, can be very fun to go through product research and find cool ideas and put your creativity to work, put your passions to work, and come up with a product that you can be proud to sell. There's not only one method to make a great product on Amazon. There are, in our opinion, 7 that we use. And you can use one of these 7, you can combine these 7, and I'm going to break down what exactly each one of these 7 are today, how you can use them and utilize them the best to have success on Amazon. So just going through here, we have the keyword method, we have the bestseller method, we have Blackbox, we have Cerebro, we have the search bar method, we have Google Trends and the keyword planner, and a bonus one I'll talk about right there. And then finally, we have starting a passion product. So let's dive in here a little bit. Let's start off with the keyword method right here. So Amazon is a search engine at its core, right? People go to Amazon to search for when they want a product. And because of that, Amazon is going to give you the information to search. So right here we can see where we're typing in the keyword keto nut butter. This is a keyword we're putting in the search bar. And if I was launching a keto nut butter, or like Travis did with performance nut butter, this could be a keyword that someone is searching for. So our goal is to look for keywords that people are searching for. What I recommend, what's going to help you a lot for this product research section, is signing up for Helium 10. Helium 10 is basically a massive database that's going to give you all the tools to do product research. They take all the data from Amazon, they pass it through, and they're going to give it back to you in the most effective way. So when you're searching and you're trying to find an idea, Helium 10 is basically going to be able to tell you if it's a good idea or not based on the tools that we'll be using today. So if you already signed up, I recommend that you go over to h10code.com. That's h10code.com. You can click on this link right here in the description too and use our code right there. There's a 7-day money-back guarantee, but this is going to help out a lot for finding your product. Again, your product is the foundation of your entire business. If you choose a good product, it can be smooth sailing from there. If you choose a bad product, it's an uphill battle. So Helium 10 is like what? It can be $50 a month, but in my opinion, it's a worthy investment to make considering how important choosing a good product is for your business. All right, so now once we go over to Helium 10, basically we'll be using a tool called the Magnet tool. The Magnet tool is one of my favorite tools in Helium 10. And once you go over there, you're able to enter in a keyword from Amazon right there, and it will show you. So we're going to go ahead and navigate over to Helium 10 just so I can break down exactly how this works. We're going to navigate over to the tools section and Magnet tool, and I'm going to get started with the keyword here. But to start us off, we're just going to go off of life straws. So let's go ahead and type in life straws right here, and we're hit get keywords. Now, once it loads, we're going to set some filters on this. So the first thing is search volume. I don't want to see any keywords that have less than 300 searches a month, so we're going to set this as the parameter. Above 300 searches a month, I can have a successful product that will get sales. So that's really important. The second thing is I'm looking for products that have a Magnet IQ score at least 3 times above the search volume. So if a product has a search volume of 300, I want to make sure that the Magnet IQ score is at least 3 times above it. The Magnet IQ score is essentially taking how much search volume there is versus how much competition there is. So the higher the Magnet IQ score relative to the search volume, the lower the competition there is for that keyword. Finally, the next thing you're going to want to look at is word count. We want things that fall between 2 and 5 words for keywords. That keeps them from being too generic and too specific. We'll keep it within there. And the other thing we'll have to look out for is brand names. So for instance, if Nike came up as a product, Nike shoes, right? We can't sell Nike shoes. We can't manufacture our own Nike shoes, so that's not a product that we can create. We're looking for generic products. So if we see a brand name coming up again and again, that's when we go over to exclude phrases and make sure we exclude Nike in this case. But let's apply filters right here, and we're going to go ahead and see what is coming up for this right here. So let's start scrolling through and see what we see. Now you're going to see a lot of keywords. Most of them aren't going to be good. And that's the thing about finding products on Amazon. If it was easy to find, everyone would find it. The fun in it is digging through, and when you find that one idea, that little piece of treasure in the middle of the haystack, that's what we're looking for right here. So it can take a minute, and that can be a good thing. So scrolling through right here, we see a few interesting things. We see live tent, we see homestead supplies. This is interesting. I still think we could find a better keyword than this, so let's keep scrolling. This is very interesting right here. It's this nuclear war survival kit. Very interesting right here. We can see it has a search volume of 300 and a Magnet IQ score of 2000. So nearly 9 times the Magnet IQ score is the search volume, which tells us there's not too much competition for this keyword. Now, if we look over here, the CPR is another thing we want to keep our eye on. The CPR basically means how many sales do you need in 8 days of selling the product in order to rank on the first half of the first page. So for this one, 8 is the lowest number they'll ever show you. So this means we need 8 sales in an 8-day period to rank on the first half of the first page. So basically 1 sale a day. So that's a keyword that should be pretty easy to rank on. What is the minimum search volume you need to make enough money for a product on Amazon? Is 300 too low? And honestly, I like 300 because it's a great starting place. 300 searches a month for a keyword can definitely make you decent money on Amazon. And the thing about it too is this is just for one keyword right here, right? For if you're making a nuclear war survival kit, you likely will be ranking on more than just one keyword, and you'll stack those keywords. So there could be several adjacent keywords that are also getting 100, 200, 300, 400 searches a month, and you can stack those up. And actually, inside our course, we'll have a little workbook where you can put in all the keywords you'll think you rank on, what position you'll think you'll rank on, and it will estimate how many sales you'll make on Amazon. So that's a great little resource that you'll get if you join the program that can be very helpful to actually understanding how many sales are you going to make on something if you launch it. Now, the final thing that we can see about this is just giving it the eye test. By clicking on this button right here, we can pull up what do the results look like on Amazon. Is anybody selling something like this? Now, I can see several kits up here. This is an emergency survival backpack, but none of these are specifically geared towards this keyword of a nuclear war survival kit. So what if we took something like this and niched it down and created a more nuclear war theme to it, added like some nuclear symbols, warning symbols on it, made some things that are a little bit more niched down. Niching down is a big secret to Amazon, as Travis was mentioning earlier with our product Carnivore Electrolytes. If we went out and just launched a generic electrolyte product, we would have been competing with lots and lots of sellers, so many other electrolyte brands, but we created a product that was perfect for people that were on the carnivore diet, which is a very niche audience, right? But nobody was targeting that audience yet. So we were able to take a generic product, niche down the product and the branding, and enter a brand new market and able to reap the rewards of that. So that's something to really think about when you're going through Amazon. Let's keep going. LifeStraw, again, LifeStraw specifically is a trademarked name. It's a brand, so we can't sell anything that's targeted towards a LifeStraw or create our new product. Emergency Water Straw, whereas this is as a generic product, and we could create that and target a keyword like this. And that's actually pretty decent results right here. CPR of 26, so it's a little bit harder to rank for this, but the Magnet IQ score relative to the search volume is very high. Just to give something completely different and get off the camping theme, we're going to go with tallow. Now, tallow is super interesting. I do see the trend right now of tallow rising. People are talking about beef tallow and thinking about removing seed oils from their cooking. Let's again put those same filters we did a second ago. 300 search volume, Magnet IQ score of 900, word count again between 2 and 5, and let's go ahead and apply these filters to see what exactly comes up here. Cool. Well, tallow itself, you can see the results. This is a very, very big keyword. Lots of search volume and lots of competition. High CPR. You would need 83 sales within 8 days to rank on that first half of that first page. So tallow itself, I wouldn't recommend going into, but let's see if we can find some interesting things. Right here at the top, Wagyu fat, we can see search volume of 332, Magnet IQ score of almost over 20 times that. That's huge. CPR of only 8. This looks great. Imagine you could probably stack up some other keywords on top of that to really get some great results there. So that's something interesting if that's what you're interested in going for there. Let's keep scrolling through and see what we see. Duck fat spray for cooking, 400 search volume, 6,000 magnet IQ score. That is huge. This market, if anybody's looking at this and has a connect with a manufacturer, if this is what they're passionate about, these are really, really good results here. And let's keep going. Algae cooking oil. Wow, look at this right here. Algae cooking oil, 6,600 search results, but a magnet IQ score of almost 10 times that. Now, that does mean it's going to be a little hard to rank on the first half of the first page. You still need 35 CPR in order to do so. But relative to the search volume, the magnet IQ score, the competition is very low. So let's click in here and see what we see. What is the competition? We do see algae cooking oil. We see a couple. We see this second ranking one here doesn't have a single review. Wow, look at that. Right here, Algae Cooking Club, Wagyu Beef Tallow Spray. Not too many products out here, I gotta say. I see this Thrive one, and that's about it. That's a lot of potential. Again, I'm not sure I would recommend ranking for that as a beginner, but I guess it is possible. So definitely something to keep your eye out. I want to move on to the next tool before I spend too much time just looking at Magnet. Again, there's 7 product research techniques. I love Magnet. It's one of my favorites, so I could spend all day going through here looking at ideas, but this is why I encourage you, if you didn't already, make sure to get a Helium 10 account. Again, we have a 50, I don't remember what the discount code is. It's at least 20% off. You can get off Helium 10. Just go to h10code.com. Take advantage of that discount, 7-day money back guarantee. But let's go back and we'll move on to the next keyword method, which is the bestseller method. And this one you can actually do for free. We do not need anything right now. All we need is our Amazon account. We just need Amazon.com pulled up right here, and let's roll. So Amazon will actually tell you what the best selling products are on the search engine. As I said earlier, Amazon is a search engine. So people go here to search for their products, and Amazon will tell you what's selling highly. So let's navigate over here and we'll see this tab right here for bestsellers. Now, once we click on bestsellers, Amazon will take us to the bestsellers of all these platforms. Now, these products are probably pretty highly established. I see Stanley Cup. That's a big brand right there. We aren't going to be able to compete with them. We see lots and lots of products that are very established, but something else we can do is we can move over to new releases right here. So this will show us products that have released recently in the last 60 days that are selling well. So these are products that were able to launch recently and still find success. So these are products that are likely to be able to be in infiltrated markets. Could be that there's trends that are on their way up and could be potential for us. So let's scroll here and see what we see. We can sort by category here. We can see home and kitchen, very interesting. This is Christmas related. I'm going to skip that again. We don't really like seasonal products here. We like to focus on things that are going to be evergreen and sell year round. So let's keep scrolling through here. I'm not sure I'm gonna love these categories, so let's go into something else. Let's go into pet supplies right here. I love pet supplies, and we're still in the new releases. Let's see what we see. We see heavy absorbatory washing underpads, see some toys, ear finger wipes. Let's click on this. This is very interesting because this is a product we can see in here that is, let's see, 54 reviews. And it has, we can see it sold over 600 in the past month. So that's really good. Especially if you can see it sold 600 plus, we can do that times, they're selling at about $10. They made over $6,000 selling this product in the past month. Not too bad. And especially when you add up the 100 count and the 150 count, they could be doing big numbers on these too. And this could actually be a pretty profitable product. Let's navigate back here one more so we can find a couple more products to show you. Let's do another category real quick so I can show you something completely different. Let's see, is there sports and outdoors? Let's do sports and outdoors and see what is trending up. Hand warmers, it's a little bit seasonal, not completely, but it's definitely very interesting to see. Let's see what else. USB pedometer. Interesting. Let's see this right here. They've done over 1,000 sales in the past month at $15. Means they've done $15,000 in sales in just the past month. But with Helium 10, you can see the demand year round. And that's another thing I can show you back in Helium 10 on one of these keywords. Something we didn't really mention too much. If we look at the search volume right here, we click this button, we can see the trend. So this is trending up right now, the duck fat, possibly people making New Year's resolutions and wanting to switch get rid of seed oils or something like that and switching over to duck fat. You can move this out to all time. It does seem to be true, but it's peaking more than ever. And you can move this more micro as well, going to 90 days and seeing how that's going. So that can be very useful to see. But let's go ahead back here. And that was the bestseller method. Just went over that with you guys. And next one, let's move over to Blackbox. Blackbox is also one of my favorite tools with Amazon, as Blackbox is going to show you how to products that you can sell on Amazon if you have no starting ideas. So the magnet tool was great because it allowed you to start with a keyword. So we started with the keywords tallow and LifeStraw, and we were able to see adjacent keywords. But what if you have no starting ideas? That's where the Blackbox tool can be very effective. So let's go back over to our Helium 10 right here. Again, if you guys are following along with me in Helium 10, even better. And let's see what we got right here. There's two ways to use Blackbox. There is the simple and there's an advanced. I find the advanced is not actually that advanced, so I just like using this. There's also both the products and the keywords. We're going to start on the products and then we'll move over to the keywords in just a second. First thing we'll do here is we'll select a category. Now you can choose whatever you want to. There's only a few categories I wouldn't recommend selling in. I wouldn't recommend selling like automotive parts in, like you could sell like accessories, but definitely not car parts. I definitely wouldn't get in there. Electronics, I tend to avoid. CDs and vinyl, avoid. One of the ones I really like is I like pet supplies, and you can get even more specific in here and select what pet supplies you're looking at. I also like, where's that outdoor one? Sports and outdoor. Let's go ahead and select that. We can get specific in here too. Let's go outdoor recreation. Let's select those two. Review count. We're going to skip over real quick. Review rating. We're looking for products that aren't rated perfectly so that we can come in and improve them. For instance, if we see a market where the products are selling well at less than 4 stars, this means that if we were to launch in the market with a 5-star product, we could take a lot of that business. So I set the review rating at 4.2 because anything below 4.2 stars on Amazon will round down to 4 stars in the little star metric. So we're going to go ahead and put that. In the review count, we're just going to put the maximum at 1,000, as anything more than 1,000, it's going to be hard to rank on. We could go even lower, like 400 if you wanted to get more specific, but for now, we'll do 1,000. And the price, our Goldilocks zone for price is between $15 and $85. If you sell below $15, there's just not much profit margin to make. And if you sell above $85, it's less of a split-second decision. Amazon works best on those impulse buys. You go, you see what you want, you order it. And if you're selling above $85, there's a bit more of a thought process that goes into making the purchase. So this is all the settings we want. We can get a little bit more specific if we want to, but this is all you have to do for sure. Oh, one thing I do want to do, I guess they've broken it up a little bit now. Parent level revenue. We'll just do this one for now. We want products that are making, I'd say, we can say at least $3,000 a month. But I guess not too high. We want to set this where no more over than 100,000. So we'll set that now. I guess we could set it in the ASIN revenue as well. We'll just set parent level just to see how that goes, and we'll get this started. So let's go here. We're seeing a lot of clothing, which means we could go through and oh, this is interesting. Portable bidet. Interesting. So portable bidet for men and women, very interesting. We can see this product is selling at $17.99. It's doing about $24,000 in sales in the past month, and we can see the average rating is 4 stars. We can see this product is a 4.1 star rating. Very interesting, and they're still doing over 300 sales in the past month, selling at $17. You can do the math. They're doing about $5,000 in revenue every single month, but we see this product is 4.1 stars. So if they're able to sell this well, a product that's basically 4-star rated, imagine how much you could sell if you were able to create a 5-star product. So if we scroll down here, what are the issues people are having with this product? Let's scroll down here and see. Some bit not as good as a bidet, but good enough. Well, I mean, it's a portable. I mean, what can you say? Okay, for the most part, I thought it would have been smaller, but the size, okay. Okay, how can you make this product and make it smaller? The twist to turn it off and on could have been better constructed and keeps it coming out the bottle. Stop working after 2 weeks. So the idea of what you can do is you can find a manufacturer and you can take these problems that people are experiencing with the product and bring it to them and then make those improvements so you can come to the market with a 5-star product. Now, for instance, if this product is selling so well, we can look up portable bidet for travel real quick and we can just see what are the other products that are selling. And I'd imagine that they're also pretty lowly rated. You can see 4 stars, 4 stars, only 14 reviews, so that probably is going to drop down eventually. We see 2 products right here. The top 2 weren't sponsored, so let's go below sponsored. Okay, this product's rated well. This one only has 20 reviews, so very, very low reviews. Only 72 reviews, so products with low reviews are ranking. This one right here, 4 stars, 4 stars, 4 stars. So very interesting. It definitely seems like a market that if you improve the product, you can go here and sell. But let's go back here and take another look to see if we can find another product. Scrolling through here, we see a bike saddle. Very interesting. I don't really know too much about that. Again, we can go back over to our filters and make things a little bit more specific. For instance, we can go down to just a 4-star average, and we can go down to a review count of 400. So let's apply these filters and see what exactly we see here. Dehydrated whole foods for emergency food, very interesting. Let's find something that's a little bit simpler to launch so I can really walk through it here. A bike safety flag, very interesting. That's selling super well as well. A impact mouth guard. Let's do one more tab just because oftentimes the best ideas are found from digging for a little bit, not just going off the first thing that you see. If you find an idea that everybody sees, everyone also sees it. So if you dig down, you can be very confident that you're finding an idea that's unique. Let's see about this. This is pretty interesting right here. It is an inflatable snowmobile sled. Wow, what an interesting product right here. Looks like you can bring it to the beach or the snow. That's pretty interesting. Definitely cool looking product right here. It's selling for $30, so it's in our price range. And it has over 100 bought, so you guys can do the math. They're doing at least $3,000 in sales every single month, and it is doing that. Helium 10 even says it's 200, so $6,000 in revenue the past 30 days. Pretty good. And it only has a 3.7 star average. They're doing all this despite being rated terribly. They're being rated at 3.5 stars. So let's scroll down and see what's going on here. So we can see this product launched a while back too. But let's see what people are saying about it. It's cheap, won't stay inflated for more than a few minutes. Valves are closed. Okay, let's make sure that's an easy problem to solve. Go talk to your manufacturer. Very small, much smaller than the picture appears. The inflation valve was missing. Now, how can you fix these problems? If someone has a problem with your product, offer them a refund rather than letting them leave a 1-star review. And being good with customer service is half the battle to having good reviews on Amazon. If you're able to come in here with a 5-star product, you can take all this business and we can just take it up a little bit and see. Let's give it a little look and see. Inflatable snowmobile sled. There's some competition, but not a ton of good reviews, at least 4 stars, 4 stars, only 6 reviews, 3.5 stars, right? So it's definitely a market that looks like it's got some potential. So cool. Let's go back over here and move on to the next tool, which is Cerebro. Actually, one more thing we want to do over in Blackbox before we go. I like doing the product side, but there's also is a keyword side. Let's go look at this keyword section right here, because not only will the Blackbox tools show you products, it will also show you keywords. So let's go back in, and you know what? I like that same one. Let's do pet supplies. We'll keep it simple this time. Just do one. Really what we want to look for is, let's see here. We want to go down here. Competitor reviews. We want to go ratings. We want to go less than 4 stars. We want to go less than 400 reviews. Monthly sales, this is where we want to go at least 3,000, no more than 100,000. And let's go ahead and hit search and see what we can get here. And now it's going to spit us product ideas. We can see dog collar, cool. And a cool dog collar, interesting. Durable tennis balls for dogs. We want to keep scrolling through until we see ideas that are really, really good. And the thing about it is, once we get one of these ideas, we can throw it back into the magnet tool and we can see relevant keywords. We can see exactly what the Magnet IQ score is for these. So this can be a great starting place right here, as we can see. But then we can go and take this research so much further by putting it through the Magnet tool and seeing all the data points behind it. What's the competition like? What are adjacent keywords? All that. Well, lots of good things here. This is just to get you started here. Let's move back over to their next method, which is the Cerebro tool. So the Cerebro tool is also another favorite tool. And what it allows you to do is, if you have a product that you see that's selling big on Amazon, you can put this in Cerebro. And number one, you can see what keywords is this product ranking for. And you can also find adjacent keywords to launch a product that's not this product, but very similar. So we're going to go ahead and get started in this one we looked at earlier, this pedometer, USB for walking, simple walking step calculator. And we see a couple things on here, but all we need to grab in order to use the Cerebro tool is the ASIN. And you can get your ASIN number in several different spots on the page. The first one is the URL bar up here. The ASIN bar is going to be right there. It's also going to be right here with Helium 10. And also, if you search the page for ASIN, you can find the ASIN right down here. So 3 different spots. And with our ASIN number in hand, we're going to go back over to Helium 10 and navigate over to the Cerebro tool. And now we're going to go back over here, and now it has loaded. Now we're going to put on some similar filters to what we did before. All right, we got some loads here. Let's get here right now. So we're seeing a lot of things come up. Again, we're looking for that Cerebro IQ score to be at least 3 times the search volume. So let's keep scrolling down here. Shoe pedometer. I'm guessing it's a pedometer you put in your shoe. Search volume of 350, a Cerebro IQ score of almost 8 times that. So there's a lot of potential there, and only 8 needed to rank. Super interesting. Let's click here and see if anybody is selling a shoe pedometer. That's kind of an ankle pedometer, but just make a pedometer that slips in someone's shoe and you have a product you can sell here. Let's keep going here and see what else we see. Pedometer for seniors. There's 350 people searching for it, and the Magnet IQ score is over 3 times that. The CPR is only 8. So in that case, this is a product that there's a lot of potential for. There's not too much competition. If we click into it, let's see if there's any products that are completely geared in that direction. Let's take a look and see. Yeah, so we see regular pedometers, but if this pedometer was the picture, a senior was using it, let's just say it was called like senior pedometer or something like that. This is exactly what you can do to niche down and to make a product like that. And as I mentioned earlier, 300 searches is very good for selling on Amazon. I know it doesn't seem like much, but these are active consumers that are searching for your product. 300 searches is a great starting place because number one, you can make $1,000 or $2,000 off 300 searches a month easily. And number two, you don't just target one keyword. For instance, this one right here, pedometer for seniors. There are many keywords you're going to rank for. You're not just going to rank for pedometer for seniors. You're going to rank for senior pedometer. You're going to rank for pedometer for older people, right? And you're going to rank for a lot of keywords. And you can, by using these tools, find those keywords. And let's just say you have 5 different keywords that are each getting 350 searches a month. You can easily be doing $10,000 a month off that easily. And so it's just a matter of by seeing the big picture. How do you rank without PPC? You do a great launch week. You get your friends, your family, you get your pre-launch group to order your product, and you sustain that growth. If you're launching in a market like this one we just saw, you're the only person selling a product targeting these people. There's no competition. There's no one. Your product will show up at the top there. We only launch products in non-competitive niches like this. Non-competitive where there's maybe 1, maybe 2, maybe none at all competitors. And so we can be the product that ranks at the top because we're the only one that's created that product. With that being said, let's go ahead and move on to the next keyword method, which is the search bar method. So let's go ahead, open up a brand new tab at Amazon. All right, so once, as we mentioned earlier, Amazon is literally a search engine. People go here to search for products. This right here is the search bar, and that's what basically Amazon is. Now, when I start to type something in on Amazon, like let's just say I hit the letter D, Amazon is going to show me the top 10 results it thinks I'm going to click based on what people are searching for. So these are the top 10 searches for right now on Amazon that start with the letter D. So we can see dog treats, dash cam, lots and lots of interesting things. So, okay, very cool. But let's go another layer in. Let's go D-O. Now we're seeing a lot of dog-related things. Okay, so dog food, dog bed. Okay, interesting. But what if we went in a third letter and maybe D-O-D? Dodgers stuff. Let's go back. We can go D-L, dolls. But by going a few letters deep, we can see what people are searching again. And exactly this method right here is how we found our product, berberine tea. We type in B-E, and as we can see, the 5th, 6th result right here is for berberine. And we're like, oh, that's so interesting. BE, what's berberine? So actually, number 1 is berberine right here. That's crazy. So the very top, it wasn't at the top when we originally did this, but that's very interesting to see. So now we see berberine. Let's type in berberine and see. So we see lots of different berberine things. At this point, we can take berberine and we can put it in the magnet tool to find adjacent keywords, or we can keep going further with this search bar tool. We typed in a T and we saw berberine tea was right here at the top. So we clicked on it and we were able to launch our product, berberine tea, which as we can see right here is ranking right at the top. We can see it right at the top of this page right here. This product is doing thousands of dollars in sales a month. We can see 50 plus bought in the past month. I think that's closer to 83. It's done $2,000 in sales in the past 30 days. Not bad for a product that we aren't spending any money on PPC on. I mean, and this is a product that's got an over 50% profit margin. So listen, I know for some people, you're like, oh, that's not a lot of money. For a product that is taking you 0 work to do, that's making you $1,000 passively a month, that cost us less than $3,000 to start up, who's passing up on that? It's a very easy, passive business. We spend virtually 0 time on this product, and it continues to bring us in $1,000 every month. And the key is just finding ideas like this that people are not in. The issue that everyone runs into is by doing the same private label method where you find a generic product from Amazon or from Alibaba, you slap your label on it, you go selling it. Listen, like people do this all the time. Like I remember back in the day, like, oh, go find a frying pan, right? Get a frying pan from Alibaba, slap your label on it, sell it. Why would someone buy your product versus all these people, right? Then you're just stuck in all this competition, and your only way to get sales is by PPC, because your product is nothing unique, it's nothing special, it's not the best on the market, it's not the best branded on the market, you're in a very competitive market, it doesn't have the best reviews or the most reviews, so then the only way you get sales by PPC, and you end up losing all your profit. The key is to start at the beginning by selling a product or starting a product that's unique, that you're passionate about, that isn't already being sold, that's in a market of its own. Next one we're going to talk about is Google Trends and the Keyword Planner. Google Trends is another free tool, and it's going to allow you to see what people are searching for on Google. But we can see what people are searching for live. So if we scroll down here, we can see what the top trends are right now for the year. We can see Parker Jones. We click on this right here. Look at that right there. We can see spiking up. But let's look at a trend like, let's look at the Los Angeles Lakers right here. Something random, but we can see the trend over the last 12 months. We can expand this. We can look at the trend the past 5 years. And although this is on Google, the trend on Amazon is going to be very similar because it's just consumer interest. It's consumer interest all the time, and you're able to track them. So for instance, we just looked at berberine real quick. So let's go ahead and look at berberine on here and see what that trend looks like. We can see no one's talking about berberine back in 2012, 2015. Keep on scrolling. All the way up here. And all of a sudden, it peaks. Maybe it was mentioned on a talk show. Maybe it was on Oprah. Maybe Dr. Phil. Maybe someone mentioned it. But all of a sudden, it spiked. And now, volume's pretty high. As many of you guys know, we've launched our product, Carnivore Electrolytes, which we sell for people on the carnivore diet. So let's take a look and see how it's doing. Past 5 years, look at this all-time spike happening right now. Well, we definitely got into this market at the right time. Let's back it up again and see 2024 or 2004. Look at that trend. This is the perfect time to be in the carnivore diet market, but let's back it up a little bit more. Let's put in the keto diet here. Let's put in the vegan diet here too. See, we can combine trends, and we can see how things are trending relative to one another. So let's put this on 2005 real quick, because this is a lot to look at, or just 5 years, sorry. And we can see the keto diet. Now, Travis was launching Performance Nut Butter targeting the keto diet back in here when it was really, really peaking, and we were in the big peak for this. Perfect time to be selling a keto product was back in this day. But you can see over time the keto product died. Now Travis exited the business here. Probably a good time to exit. He sold the company because if he kept riding it, he would just been riding this trend at the bottom. Now you can see some of these other ones rising up. You can see vegan diet here. It's there. It's kind of low. It peaks beginning of every year. The new year, people set resolutions. But the carnivore diet, we can see really rising up all the way up here. So this trend lines will let you compare things and see what's selling, what's the better product to sell, what do things look like over time. And although this is data on Google, it's going to be very similar to the data that you'll get on Amazon. You know, it's a lot of the same people that are searching on both, and you know, they're both big platforms, so they're going to capture the macro trends that are happening. So let's go back over here and go over to another tool. Now, this is one of my favorite tools. This is a bonus tool for you guys today that I love using, and that's Exploding Topics. Now, Exploding Topics is a curated trend list, and they're going to show you those trends that are exploding right now, having explosive growth. And they offer a subscription where you can join and actually get paid access to their very advanced trends, but they'll also show you a bunch for free on their homepage like here. So we can see She's Elite Honey right now. Wow, look at this. It's got 99x growth in the past year. It's got a pretty solid volume right now. This is a product that's exploding in real time, going all the way up to the top right here. Super interesting. This is something I would definitely consider looking at. Let's pull it up on another screen. If you have the Pro version, you can look at the forecast and you can see where it thinks it's going to continue to grow based on, you know, it's AI. You got all the data points. They can show you, oh, is this a trend that's going to die out or one that's going to keep going and growing? So that's one. Loop earplugs designed to protect your ears from harmful noise levels. Very interesting. It's continuing to spike. Keep scrolling down here. We can see lots of cool ideas. Bamboo pajamas seems like a great thing right here. It's exploding 1,600% growth in the past year. Again, you can combine these methods, and that's what I think is really great. You can take this keyword right here, and I can go plug this in the magnet tool. I can go back over to Helium 10. We can go up here. We can go to the magnet tool, and we can plug this in to see what's the competition look like. Is it a good trend? What can we do about this? So it's definitely something interesting to see. And yeah, we can see right here, I wouldn't do just plain bamboo pajamas, but maybe you can find a sub niche to go down to that's going to be able to make you a good bit of money. Now, I want to make sure that we're able to cover all the methods right here. So finally, this last method we want to talk about right now is a passion product. So as I've kind of talked about with passion product, the method that was taught for the longest time is private label. Take a generic product, can be anything, a frying pan, slap your label on it, get on Alibaba, sell it on Amazon. But the problem is everyone knows about this method. Everyone is doing this. Everyone from China is going to overcut you, especially with the tariffs that are coming on now. Those are going to affect US sellers more than Chinese ones, and the Chinese ones will continue to undercut the US sellers and just take all the profit away. So here's the deal. What I recommend you doing instead is creating a passion product. So when Travis first started his dancewear company with his mom, B Dancewear, the problem was he wasn't passionate about it. He wasn't passionate about dance clothing. It wasn't something that he knew anything special about, so he couldn't do anything special in the market. But what was a passion product was performance nut butter, which he created. He took his interests of working out and the keto diet and things and created a product that was unique in a market of his own and something he really cared about. And by doing this product in the first year, he was able to do $1,300,000 selling this product because he was passionate about it, because no other premium nut butter existed in the market at the time. And that's the key to using a passion product. Now, you can combine these other methods like the magnet tool, like exploding topics, and find things that you're passionate about and build a passion product around it. Now, if we keep going on here, we look at these other ideas. Now, these are from both us in-house and our students. We just talked about performance nut butter. Carnivore electrolytes, our latest one, our passion for the carnivore diet, creating a product that didn't exist before in a market that didn't exist before. Brent creating Cerebro. He's doing over $1 million sales a year, and that's just on Amazon. He's expanded to retail, and that's while working a full-time job. We have AJ with cocktail cards. AJ's cocktail cards is doing over $500,000 a year. He started with basically $0 down by doing a Kickstarter, which is another advantage that we'll talk about later about doing a passion product. And Willem took his passion for energy and caffeine and created high caffeine tea, Rocket Tea, the highest caffeine tea in the market, which is doing thousands and thousands of dollars in profit this year alone. Now, these are all passion products. And if you look at their numbers right here, we can see Andrew with Tool Wrangler. His product to organize your toolkit. He's done over $300,000 in sales in his first 4 years. We look at AJ, in his first year did $170,000 in profit. Mina, in his first year launching his electrolytes, hard work, did over almost $50,000 in profit on his first year, and he's doing easily 6 or 7 figures with what he's doing. These are just a few examples. We want you to be next. The big thing is that if you put in the work to validating your product at the beginning, it's gonna reap the benefits of what you do, because that's the foundation for your whole business. If you create a great product at the beginning, that is going to make everything you do smooth sailing. Your product's gonna launch in a market of its own, low competition. Whereas if you create a product that's, doesn't put in the validation, it's not a good idea, it's gonna be hard work to get it where you wanna be. It's gonna be an uphill battle. It's gonna be a lot of PPC spending, a lot of wasted money, and that's why it's so important to invest the money and the time into creating a great product, which Helium 10 and also our program. The reason 90% of sellers don't succeed is they don't put in the work necessary to find a winning product. Finding a niche is not easy. If it was easy, someone would grab it up, right? Everyone would find it, right? The idea is that you put in the work, you use your creativity, you use your competitive edge. What's your occupation? What are your hobbies? And you bring that to the table to find a great product. You can make excuses about it all you want and say, oh, it's saturated, but it's not, because we're doing it, we have students doing it, and we really want you to be one of them and to join us and to join our program where we can help you follow along and do exactly what we're doing to launch a product. I mean, this can be the year where you do it. You launch a product on Amazon, you make a big business success, you start making passive income, living the life that you want, and there's a path proven for you to do that right here. Or you can spend a year making excuses. I hope it's the former, because we'd love to have you on board to help you in this journey. We'll talk about social media later, so stay tuned. I'll be doing that lesson after Cam's gonna come on here and teach you guys a lot more. What's coming up next?
How to find a manufacturer.
How to find a manufacturer coming up next. I'll be back on here to do social media in a bit, so make sure to stay tuned. We're talking about a lot today. With that being said, I'm gonna turn it over to Cam, who's gonna help you guys find your manufacturers. We talked about validating a product. Now, how do you get it made? He's going to talk it, and I'll see you guys in a bit. Please stay tuned because we've got a lot coming up.
And before I get into the next tip about how to start an Amazon FBA business, I do want to let you know that I am giving out free calls with myself and my team. There's a link down below to apply for the call. And on this call, we'll tell you how we can work with you to help you to launch your own Amazon FBA business. We're only working with people that are serious about launching Amazon businesses, because the big thing is our reputation is based on the success rate. And we have a very high success rate. A very high percentage of people that join our program end up launching and making money with Amazon FBA. Our goal is to help you make $100,000 plus profit per year, relatively passive income from your Amazon business. And that's why when you click the link down below, you will have to apply. Not everyone that applies will qualify. And then on the call, we'll get a little bit more information from you, see if you're a good fit for the program. And if you are, we'll tell you some details about how you can join that program. It's a mentorship program where we actually walk you step by step through how to launch your own Amazon FBA business. So click on the link down below to apply. And now I'm going to show you the next step, which is manufacturing.
All right, what's up everybody? Let's jump into finding a manufacturer. So I'm going to be talking about 3 different ways of finding a manufacturer. So let's dive into it. So the first way, I'm going to talk about Alibaba, which is the most widely known platform to find suppliers. And they have so many suppliers, not just in China, worldwide, but they actually have suppliers that are logging on and they are being listed on Alibaba that are in Asia. They are also listed in Europe. They have thousands of suppliers on there. So if we log in to Alibaba.com, one of the things that you will see on this website is that they have over 100,000 suppliers that are listed on Alibaba. And it's very easy to find manufacturers that can make your product. And one of the ways to jump and do that is to type in the type of product that you want to manufacture. And now if you're making something new, so you want to type in something similar or in the same category of the product that you're trying to manufacture, and then you start filtering which manufacturer as you start communicating with them as to who can help you manufacture or make your product. And one of the things to know about Alibaba and why it's gotten better over the years is because of their trade assurance. And trade assurance makes sure that they provide ways to protect against any unforeseen circumstances to make sure that your requirements from your suppliers are being met. So that's one thing. Another thing, if there's any shipping issues or delays or anything, Alibaba is on top of it. They act as an escrow where they are the middleman between you and the supplier or the manufacturer. And they make sure that they hold on to the money so it's not paid off yet to the supplier until they make sure that you're getting your products the way you want to. They even offer product inspections to make sure the quality of your product is up to standards. So you definitely want to make sure when you're looking for products to take advantage of these tools, because they are offered there for a reason. Now, a lot of mistakes that new beginners make is that they don't take advantage of these trade assurance features. For example, you want to make sure that your product, your production run is meeting the quality that you want. So you want to put your expectations up front with the supplier. If there are things that you are asking your supplier to meet, you want to make sure they meet them before you take your product in, before you pay them full price. We'll talk about that in just a second. Let's talk about finding products. So let's do an example here, a live example. Let's say, for example, you want to get into the pet category, right? And you want to maybe possibly make a new supplement or a treat or some kind of snack for dogs or cats. So you can just type in here dog treats. And over here, you're going to get a list of so many different suppliers or manufacturers that can help you. Obviously, they're showing the products that they're already making. And when you go in to see those suppliers, you're going to see that they're making so many other products than this. So you definitely want to spend more time investigating and searching each supplier to see what their specialty is, because some suppliers are more specialized than others. You'll find out that they are like a jack of all trades, and they will be manufacturing products left and right. They might have pet products along with other types of products. Is that a supplier that you want to buy from? That's up to you. But you might find a supplier that specializes in dog treat or food products, consumable products just specifically for dogs. Now, this is a more specialized supplier that you might want to be interested to work with. Now, when you are searching for a supplier, one thing that you want to do is you want to request samples. That's going to allow you to understand how does this manufacturer operate. How is their customer service with you? How is their shipping quality? How is their packaging? What is the quality of their product? Those are all things that you want to investigate. But before you go ahead and do that, it's really, really important to look at few things first. One of the first things that you want to look at is this a verified supplier? And what does that mean? So you always can go here and click on the question mark or just put your cursor over it. Verified suppliers are suppliers with credentials and capabilities inspecting and verified by third-party companies. So what that means is that Alibaba sends a third-party inspection company to that manufacturer to make sure that they are a legit manufacturer and they are not just some hole in the wall or some kind of a scam artist that's trying to act as a manufacturer. Another thing they have is verified pro suppliers. What does that mean? Now that is taking things to the next step, which is these are verified suppliers that have been selling for 5+ years on this platform, and they've been verified for so long. So they have so much more credentials. So that means when you find those suppliers, looking at their reviews and their revenue, you can tell that this is a successful manufacturer or supplier that's been working with a lot of sellers. The next thing that you want to look for is the supplier history and the number of years they've been selling. So when you're looking through for suppliers here, you can see there are the number of years that those suppliers have been selling for. We recommend that you work with suppliers that have been selling for at least 2 years, right? You don't want to just cut everyone out and look for suppliers that have been selling for 5+ years, because those could be big fish in the pond. Those could be big, expensive suppliers. You might want to work with a supplier that's been working for 2 years, especially if it's your first supplier, because they might have lower prices, maybe lower MOQs. They're more willing to work with a beginner, someone who's just starting out, all these things. So you don't want to cut them out completely, right? Now, if you're a more advanced seller and you've been selling for years, maybe you just want to work with people who are verified pro on this website. So that's one thing. And the MOQ is really important because as a new seller, right, you don't want to have to buy 12,000 units. You want to be, I recommend starting with 1,000 unit for your first order. It's going to allow you to send some inventory to Amazon, and it's going to allow you to hold to some inventory so you're ready to ship to Amazon when you're running out of stock. The reason this is important is because the one thing that you want to avoid when selling on Amazon is running out of inventory. So shipping 500 as a rule, as a first-time seller on Amazon, could be the best thing that you could do because you're playing it safe. Now, why don't you want to send 5,000 units right away? The reason you don't want to do that is you want to avoid long-term storage fees. And that is, if your inventory is sitting at Amazon for over 6 months, Amazon will start to charge you long-term storage fees. So it's really important to avoid that. You don't want to send too much inventory to Amazon. So 500 is almost like a very good estimate to making sure that you'll sell out before the 6 months. And if you do everything that we tell you to have a successful launch, you will be able to sell those 500 units way sooner than 6 months. I mean, that's the goal. The goal is to sell out in the first 2 to 3 months. And then you have another set of inventory that you're ready to ship, and that can save you from not running out of inventory and ranking really low. So anyway, going back to supplier MOQ. So that's the next thing that you want to communicate with your supplier to find out what is the MOQ that they're going to offer for you, or they're going to be able to give you. Some suppliers are going to tell you MOQ is 5,000, especially if you're creating something new. But here's the secret and here's the trick to finding suppliers that can help you with low MOQ. And the way to do that is, again, you find suppliers that maybe have been selling for 2 years. That's one way. Big suppliers who are selling millions of dollars, which we'll talk about that in a second, they might not be too flexible to sell you 1,000 units. They don't need to do that, right? They work with other sellers who are ordering 10,000 units or more. So you want to find a bit of a smaller supplier who might be able to work with you to sell a less quantity. So the way to do that is, let's say we're going to check this supplier out. So you go over here and you scroll down to see what is the revenue of this supplier. And you can see right here, their online revenue for the whole year is about a little over $500,000. So that's not bad, right? This is considered a small supplier. This is not a big supplier because some of the big suppliers, they make over $1 or $2 million a year in sales. This one has been selling for 14 years, for example. It's a verified pro supplier. So you can see it right here. They're showing you that they are selling about $2.8 million worth of sales every year. So that's a big supplier, and they might not be willing to work with you to give you 1,000 units, right? So this is where you're doing your research. So that's really important for you to help you filter out suppliers so you're not contacting a bunch of big suppliers and getting disappointed why you're not finding the MOQ that you desire. The next thing I want to talk about is negotiation and communicating with your supplier. So it's really, really important that when you communicate with supplier to be as professional as possible. You don't want to chat with them as if you're chatting with your friend. Don't send them messages, because I know Alibaba allows you to chat with the suppliers right on their platform as a chat box. And you can kind of forget about yourself and start chatting with them in a very friendly kind of way, like you're texting your friend. You don't want to do that. You still want to chat with them in a way that seems very professional. And we have a lot of templates that we share with our students in the course on how to communicate with the suppliers, how to be very professional, how to negotiate prices, how to negotiate with MOQs to get the best deal possible. So it's really, really important to spell check, be very professional, send them really nice emails, explain who you are. If this is your first time selling, there's nothing wrong with saying that, saying like, I'm the CEO or the founder of this company. I'm planning to launch on Amazon, and I'm really interested in your manufacturing services, and I would like to do this, this, and this. Can you give me quotes for 3 different, price tiers for, 500 unit, 1,000 unit, 5,000 unit, and you can just give them an idea and make them feel like you're trying to become a long-term business partner with them. So you want to draw that image to the supplier to make sure that they are going to be working with you. They're going to be your partner for long-term. The next thing is to set expectations with the supplier. So this is really, really important. And I feel like a lot of new Amazon sellers kind of miss out on that. When you're about to place an order with a supplier, make sure that you set the expectation, you set the requirements that you need before you place the order. You want to make sure that the supplier puts all your requirements on the sales order. You want to be able to see them in writing on the sales order before you agree on it. And set an expectation telling the supplier that you are going to do a quality check, you're going to do an inspection before you pay the full price for the production run. So the way to do that, you pay maybe 20 or 30% upfront, and you agree on that before you agree on the sales order. And make sure that you give your supplier as much information as possible. You don't want them fishing for information from you. Another thing that I hear, from a lot of new Amazon sellers, and this is why they're afraid of, purchasing from Alibaba or sourcing from China, is that a lot of suppliers from overseas, they tend to steal your product idea and start selling it themselves on Amazon. So how do we avoid that? One, or the fastest way and the most affordable way to do it, is to have them sign an NNN agreement. And what that stands for is a non-disclosure, non-use, non-circumvention agreement. Now, an NNN is more reliable than an NDA in China. And you can find so many services, especially in China, that can form this form for you. So this is the cheapest and most affordable way to have your supplier agree not to steal your product idea. So you can hold them accountable if anything happens in the future. A bit of a more expensive way, or a more, obviously this is more reliable because now legal, you're getting the law involved, is to get patents. So when you get a patent, you will protect your product legally from being sold anywhere else or copied anywhere else. And there's 2 ways of doing this. Now you can get a patent in China, which is more respected by Chinese manufacturers than getting a US patent. And you could do that by hiring a service or a lawyer that can help you to put that together. But this is going to cost a bit more money, and it's going to take a bit longer time. However, it is a good way to make sure that your product is not going to be stolen. The next thing is going to be a provisional patent from the US, which is a quick, affordable, it costs about $100, maybe less, to get it, and it covers you for the next year while you're applying for an actual patent. Another thing is trademarks. That's going to protect your logo, your design, and more importantly is going to give you a brand registry on Amazon, which we will cover a little bit later. The next thing that you want to do is ordering samples. I would say minimum 3 samples from 3 different suppliers. Once you get samples, now you want to start choosing which supplier you want to work with. And there's different factors that you should keep in mind to decide which manufacturer to work with. 1 is going to be communication, 2 is going to be price, 3 is going to be the quality of the product. Some of the mistakes that I see people make as beginners are ordering too much. So that's one thing. Don't order too much product at first, because for 2 reasons. 1 is you want to avoid the long-term storage fees with Amazon, and you don't want too much stock sitting at your house. Another thing, the 1,000 units that you ordered, what if something was slightly off about them and you want to change that, right? So like, let's say you're getting a ton of reviews and you're getting a ton of sales, but you're like, I wish I could adjust this minor thing, but you've placed too much of a big order. Now you're stuck with that for all these units to be sold before you can make that adjustment. So the cool thing about keeping it low to 1,000 units, it gives you that chance to, update your product, to upgrade it, to make that adjustment, to listen to the customers' feedback, to the reviews, and make those adjustments. So that's really important. The other mistake that I see most Amazon sellers make is ordering too little. It could possibly mean running out of stock. And when you run out of stock, you tend to rank really low on Amazon, and it becomes really hard to rank high and get back on all that effort that you made to launch your product on Amazon. And we're going to talk about this a little bit later, but ranking on Amazon is one of the most important things, and taking advantage of the launch is going to be really important. And once you do that, you get about 30 to 60 days of what we call the honeymoon phase of selling on Amazon. Because when you start selling a new product, Amazon doesn't know how to rank you. If you can start averaging, let's say 5 to 10 sales a day, or considerably close to what are the most top Amazon sellers in that category, Amazon is going to think you are one of the top sellers in that category, and they're going to rank you really high, so you start showing on top of the search results when selling on Amazon. One pro thing about ordering from China is that you are saving a lot of money because the cost of labor is really low. One con to that is that we don't understand the labor acts in China, and maybe ethically we're not very fond of how China conducts their labor over there. This is why a lot of people tend to prefer US made products or other places in the world, right? Another con thing about ordering from China, if planned right, it can be avoided. But China tends to take 1 month off in February for their New Year's. And if you don't plan correctly around that, you might run out of stock and not be able to order till March. So there's a whole month that it's going to be really hard for you to place an order when ordering from China. In a minute, I'm going to be talking about how to find manufacturers outside of China. Keep in mind, Alibaba doesn't only host manufacturers in China. However, they are very China dominant. So most of the suppliers on there are going to be in China. The next thing is the time difference. Sometimes it takes a whole day before you can hear back from your supplier. Now let's dive into the second biggest manufacturer market in the world, and that's going to be the US. There's 2 ways to find manufacturers that we're going to talk about. The first place is going to be Google, and Google is a good place to find manufacturers really anywhere, not just in the US, but you could type anything in here. So like if we put dog treat manufacturers, it's going to pop right up, or of you finding a bunch of manufacturers on here. But that might not be the most productive way to do it. However, it is worth checking out. One source that I want to talk about is Thomasnet.com. Thomasnet.com is really good for finding manufacturers that are exclusively in the US. So it's really easy. It's almost as easy as Alibaba, but there is a trick here, and it's a little bit different that not most people are aware of. The easiest way to do it is to type in the type of product, right? So that's going to be the easiest way. Like let's say you want to find a dog treat, and you get a bunch of manufacturers that are selling private label dog treats. So that means they will put your own logo, your own design on the packaging, and they'll sell it for you. The other way is to find actual manufacturers, and this can be private label, or it can be someone who you can work with from scratch. And the cool thing about Thomasnet.com, you can filter these manufacturers based on quality certifications. So this is something that we love about US manufacturing, is that the quality control here is superb. You can literally filter on Thomasnet.com based on certifications, and that's when you start doing your research. That is really important. And the next thing I want to show you is the region. So if you want to find a supplier that is close by to you, you can literally put your zip code onto there and you can filter by how many miles that you want to find a supplier. And what that does is that if you want to be able to visit your manufacturer, you could do that. And this could actually save you a lot of money on shipping, and you can avoid overseas shipping, using air shipping or sea shipping, which can cost, about $1,000 or a few $1,000s, depending on the weight and the quantity of the product. The next thing that I want to talk about that's really unique and different about Thomasnet.com is the way you search for products. So let's say, for example, you want to create a new toy. So let's say you're developing a new product that's made out of plastic. So you're looking for something that's, made via injection molding. So the one thing that you're gonna do, learn how the product is made, and you can type in here plastic injection molding, and you'll see a ton of suppliers. This is when you start filtering. Also, again, certificates is a thing. One of the most important ones that I look for is, ISO 9001. And I think ISO 9001 should be something that all manufacturers should have. So I try to filter through that. The next thing that I want to talk about is if you're trying to get suppliers in Mexico. And one of the best websites that I recommend is Gimba.com, which is great for manufacturers that are in Mexico and I think South America in general. It's a really cool website to check out if you're trying to source things in Mexico or South America. One tip though that I would give you is when you're sourcing in other countries, one of two things that you want to make sure that you're doing. One, sending someone to talk with the supplier to make sure that you're verifying the supplier, because I've heard stories of other sellers that are just working through the internet talking to suppliers, not knowing that this is not even a supplier, they're not even a manufacturer, they're just a trading company, or not even, it could be a person who's acting as a supplier. So you want to try to avoid that by either hiring someone over there to go and inspect it for you, or you go by yourself, you travel, and you go check it out yourself to make sure you avoid any big mistakes like that. Another great resource is India, which I hear a lot of people like to source from there, and I think Indiamart.com is a great place for that. So you can go to Indiamart.com, find products or manufacturers that make different products, and go from there. Now you can find really great products in India that you couldn't find anywhere else, but make sure that you're doing your homework, you're verifying that this is a legit business. The next place that I'm going to talk about is Europe. If you're trying to find manufacturers in Europe, is Europages.com, and this is a great place to source manufacturers in Europe. It's actually the largest website for manufacturers in Europe. Again, a lot of the principles that I talked about earlier apply here, and this could be fun. In the end of the day, like, enjoy this process, enjoy this journey. It could be exciting, and it could cause you to be nervous because this is the first time you're doing it, but this is how you learn, and we are here to support you every step of the way. If you're someone who doesn't want to do this on their own, you want to be part of a community, that's what we're here for. The next one I want to talk about is Globalsources.com. So these people don't sell to individuals. Make sure that your business is set up, which we're going to talk about in a bit. But this is a website that has a lot of verified suppliers, legit suppliers, and they're worldwide. There's over 1.5 million suppliers, and they are real manufacturers, not trading companies, because when you're on Alibaba, you could be talking to a manufacturer, but they're in fact a trading company. They're not even a manufacturer, so they're like a broker. So the last thing that I want to talk about, guys, is going to trade shows, going to expos. This could be a great way to meet manufacturers that are in the category that you're trying to get into. You can go to like food expos or pet expos, or you can go to manufacturing trade shows and find people there and network and figure out how did they make their product. Having a community, meeting people is really, really important when you start your own business. When you enter into the business world, it's really important to expand that. The more people you meet, the more opportunities you have. So I'm gonna leave you with that, and I'm gonna pass it to Travis, who's gonna take over.
What up? I'm gonna show you how to sign up for an Amazon seller account. And the first step is to go to sell.amazon.com. And all you have to do to sign up for an Amazon seller account is click this sign up button. But there is a second way that you can sign up for your Amazon seller account. It's actually free. And this is something that not a lot of people do. But if you want to sign up to become an individual seller, you can click on this button right here. Now, for most people watching this video, I would recommend not doing the individual seller plan. Like if you're looking to start a legitimate business, you're going to want to click on this sign up button. And the reason is because even though the individual seller account is free, and the professional seller account is $39.99 a month. With the individual seller account, you have to pay an additional 99 cents for every item that you sell. However, with the professional selling plan, you can sell unlimited items. You're only gonna have to pay the 15% Amazon fee, which I'll talk about later in this video, how you can get that down from 15% down to 5%. But the individual seller plan is really meant for people that are only selling a couple units, where the professional selling plan is made for people that are starting an Amazon business. And we'll talk about how you can get $50,000 in incentives. It talks about right here, get 10% back on your first $50,000 in branded sales. We'll be talking about all of that, but the first step to sign up for your Amazon seller account is to click on the sign up button. Now you're going to log in. And if you don't already have an Amazon account, you can click on create your Amazon account. And I'll show you this. I would put in here Travis Marziani because that's my name. Email travis@passionproduct.com. That is my professional email. Put in a password here. And then hit next. And that's all you need to do in order to sign up for a regular Amazon account. They'll send you an email. You get that email and you just confirm that your email is valid. Once you've done that, you're gonna come over here and put that email in again. So I'm gonna put travis@passionproduct.com, hit continue, put in the password, hit next. All right, it's gonna text me a one-time password. So the first question it's gonna ask you when you're looking to sign up for your Amazon seller account is, where is your business registered? And for us, it's in the United States. Now, it doesn't matter, even if you live somewhere other than the United States, you can still sell on Amazon in the United States. Don't worry about that. I'll be talking about how you can do that later in this video. I know that there's a lot of people that watch my channel from the UK or from Pakistan or from anywhere in the world. Doesn't matter where you're located, you can sell on Amazon in the US. And we'll be talking about how to do that later in this video. So we're gonna click on save and continue. And then we're gonna talk about what type of business do you have? Is it a state-owned business? And what's a state-owned business? You have selected that you're registering as a state-owned business, which is a business that is either wholly or partially owned and operated by the government. No, like we do not have a state-owned business. This isn't China. We're in the US. We have our own business. So there's some other options here. The option that we're gonna pick is privately owned business. The business seller is registered in the context of a commercial or professional activity. This just means that you have your own business. There's publicly listed business, which most people watching this video, this does not apply to you. A publicly listed business is something like Nike or like some giant company. And then there's charity, which, hey, if you're a charity and you're selling on Amazon, good for you. Last option is individual. I don't have a registered business. And so if you've not registered your business yet with the government, which I'll be talking about how to do later in this video, you'll select individual and you can still sell on Amazon using your social security number. However, for most people watching this, I recommend getting either a DBA, which stands for doing business as, or an LLC, which stands for limited liability company. And the way to do this is you can go to websites like LegalZoom.com and go to the LLCs. LegalZoom, start your business, form your LLC. You're gonna go here, you're gonna click start my business and just fill out some paperwork. It takes about 10 to 20 minutes. It doesn't take long. It's free, though you will have to pay some fees to your state. Here in California, it's $800 a year for an LLC. You can go to wyregisteredagent.com. Third agent. I'll just put that in here. Yeah, you can see here. This is wyregisteredagent.net. For $49 a year, you can get a registered agent service. I think it's like $200 to get your LLC through Wyoming. So whatever option you want, I'm gonna click on privately owned business and we're gonna put the business name here. So this is just a tutorial. I'm just showing you how to do it. And so whatever the business name that you have, you would put here. I normally would put Passion Product LLC, but I've already have an Amazon account with that, so I don't wanna put that again. So I'm just gonna put Travis's business name. All right, so at this point, Amazon's telling us what we're gonna need. As a privately owned business from the United States, you're gonna need a valid government issued ID or passport, recent bank account or credit card statement, chargeable credit or debit card, and a mobile phone. So I'm gonna click on agree and continue. And I have a lot of tutorials on my channel showing in depth how to do this, but I want this one to be a little bit more in depth, a little bit bigger of an overview. So now it has Travis's business name. It's already filled that in for us. We need a company registration number. So what is a company registration number? A business license is a permit issued by a government agency to allow individual or company to conduct business. Yeah, it has all this information. So basically what this is, the company registration number is your EIN. And to get an EIN, you're gonna go to EIN IRS, and we're gonna go to get employer identification number. I'll start this process. I probably won't do all of this, but on this page right here, as always, they got, okay, apply for an EIN. We're gonna click on apply for an EIN, begin application. You get to pick what option you are. Are you a limited liability company? So if you do have an LLC, you would select that. If you're a sole proprietor, meaning you have a DBA, or you're just an individual, you'd click on that. And I have a lot of other videos where I go in depth, where I talk about which one you should choose. Also, in my Amazon FBA program, which there is a link down below to join, I talk in depth about all the legal stuff. Don't let this overcomplicate it for you. Most people should just do an LLC. You can use LegalZoom to do that. Or in order to do that, you should do an LLC in your own home state if you do live in the United States. If you live outside the United States, you're gonna wanna do Wyoming, wyregisteredagent.com. So you have your LLC. Once you have your LLC, you're coming to the IRS page, you're selecting LLC, and you're gonna click continue. Now a DBA is cheaper, doing business as. The problem with the DBA is it doesn't provide any kind of legal protection. So if someone sues your business, they can come after your personal assets. With an LLC, it separates your personal assets and your business assets. For most people, that's not a problem. If you're selling a consumable item, you definitely want an LLC. LLC is a little bit more professional. The other reason why you want to get a DBA or an LLC is it allows you to open up a business bank account and a business credit card, and that really allows you to keep your finances separate. So anyways, we got LLC right here, and we're gonna click on continue. All right, so you've chosen an LLC. How many members are in your LLC? Just one. Please select what state it's in. Let's say it's in California. I'm gonna click continue. All right, I go through this in the Passion Products formula in depth on how to follow it. It's a very step-by-step process. It's gonna take you like 10 to 15 minutes, and at the end, they're gonna give you an EIN number. I'm just gonna make up an EIN number and see what happens. Hopefully this doesn't ruin everything. Then we're gonna put registered business address. I'm gonna also make that up, 91354. Let's put, one of my first businesses that I had was Bedanswear. Let's put this address. All right, next step is we're gonna put in the primary contact name, which would be my name, Travis Marziani. Select the country of citizenship, United States. And I'm going through all this showing you guys to show how easy it is. Country of birth, United States. Date of birth. I'll put my, if anyone wants to wish me a happy birthday for next year, November 4th, 1988. Residential address, put Valencia. Oh, is it 91354? All right, now we're gonna go confirm if primary contact person. Yes. Yes. Boom, next. We gotta select country. I wonder if I can put a fake passport number in here. 11111. Oh, it won't let me do this. So the next step is we're gonna need a valid bank account number. Your bank account should be the name of the primary contact or business name provided to Amazon. To verify your bank account, you'll need online banking credentials. Okay, a valid credit card. So let's keep continuing here, and I'll keep showing you guys how to do this. So next up is bank account holder name. It's my name. We're gonna put in the routing number and the bank account number and all this information. I'm gonna see again if I can put in a fake one. 567, 567. Okay, well, this won't work. But anyways, let me just walk you guys through the rest of the process of how it would work. Next up, you would just put in a credit card information. Then you'd put in your store information. Guys, you can watch this whole video if you need help. Yeah, then it's just going to ask you some other questions. Basically, from here on out, it's pretty straightforward. I don't think you guys, if you have any questions, that's something we talk about in depth in the Passion Product Formula. But basically, if you've ever signed up for an online bank account, or if you've signed up, honestly, even for an email, it's basically the same process. So we're going to pass it over to Connor, and Connor is going to be talking about social media, I think.
Social media.
We're talking about social media. Let's go.
Social media is one of the most powerful things you can use to build your business, especially if you have no audience to begin with. Social media gives you the power to tap into an audience and to build one basically for free. And we're going to go over some tools that are the best tools to use now to build your audience, so that when you launch your product on Amazon, you've got 100 or 1,000 people ready to order your product thanks to the work that you've done, and you can continue to drive growth towards your product. It's one of my best things. It's really helped me. We're going to talk about some case studies and everything, so everybody stay tuned for this. This is probably one of the most valuable pieces we'll be sharing, just given how transformative it can be for your business and the results that you can have. How to do social media for your product launch. The power of social media. As I just said, social media is so powerful in the sense that, especially in today's era, it has the ability for any business, no matter where you are located in the world, no matter who you are, you can post a piece of content on social media and reach people that have never heard about your business before and drive people through the door. This has never been the case before in history. It's been democratized where anyone can use it, and so many people just ignore it. And if we look today, you'll see how you can't afford to ignore social media if you're launching on Amazon, or regardless of what your business is, but specifically with Amazon. And there is not only one guaranteed way to win, there are 4 things we'll be going over. Number 1, we'll be talking about AJ's case story. His case study of launching cocktail cards and the success that he had with social media. Number 2, we'll be talking about utilizing short form content. Short form content is what all the programs are pushing right now, and you're getting the most reach on. So we'll be talking a lot about that. And then we'll be talking about utilizing influencers. This is a scary topic for many, but actually can be very easy and some of the most beneficial things that you'll get out of social media. And finally, 4th, we'll talk about building a pre-launch group. You can do any one of these things, but everything will work the more you put into it and the more that you do together. AJ's story, we've talked about him a few times here. He was one of our first students in the Passion Product Formula. He was a bartender, lost his job during COVID. He came to our program and we used his expertise in bartending to create what we have here is cocktail cards. Cocktail cards is a flashcard deck of cocktails. We actually have it sitting right behind me here. We can break it out in a bit to show you guys. Actually, all of these products that you see behind us, these are all our students who have launched their products on Amazon that are going on to do hundreds of thousands of dollars selling their products on Amazon. Each one of these behind us is a success case. And honestly, there's probably a few on here that we don't even have featured, just given how many students have launched products. But if you guys go on and launch a product in our course and you message us once you launch, we'll put your product right behind us. You can be part of Travis's YouTube journey in all of his videos going forward. So that should be some inspiration for you to get started. But anyways, he took his expertise, launched this product, and as we mentioned, went on to do $500,000 a year. But the question is, how did he get there? He didn't come from nowhere. I mean, he was doing stuff before this. So how did he go from not having any reach, from not having any brand, from not having any followers to launching a product like this? He raised $100,000, this is in euros, but it's just about $100,000 on Indiegogo for his product. Now, if you don't know about Indiegogo and Kickstarter will both let you raise money for a project before you launch it. But let's just say you have $0 and you need $10,000 to manufacture your product. You can start a Kickstarter and raise $10,000 from people who are interested in your idea to then pay your manufacturer to actually create your product. That's the process we follow with the Passion Product. And some people opt to do it, some people don't. AJ was able to raise $100,000, incredible amount. And here's how he was able to do it. AJ used TikTok. And we can see here 2 of AJ's TikTok's accounts. The first one is Cocktail Cards, where AJ started with 0 followers when he joined the program. And he went on to gain almost 500,000 followers and over 40 million views to his content. He also, on his personal page here, has gotten about 10 million views, a decent number of followers, tons and tons of support. And how did he do this? He did this by posting short form content. He posted short TikToks like this. I encourage you guys to check this out. This is telling his story right here. He created an account. You get to see this one, right? 1.1 million likes and probably like 100 million views, or not 100, but 10 million views right here. You can see him sketching out him showing how he created cocktail cards. He made a video about this. And the videos he created a while during this, we can go through and scroll through, he created how to make all these different drinks. Super easy videos like this. And it was a system, and he just stayed consistent with it. And he channeled people to his pre-launch list. He stayed consistent with this and posted tons and tons of videos and was able to gain this many followers that he was able to channel into his Indiegogo when he launched, raise $100,000 before his product launched, and then go on to do over $500,000 a year since he had launched this product almost 5 years ago now. There's 4 tools we're going to talk about utilizing short form content. The first one, Instagram Reel. The second one, TikToks. The third one, YouTube Shorts. And fourth, we'll talk about viral hacking. Now, why do I recommend these programs? Because all these programs are promoting short form content. These apps like TikTok and Instagram, they want people to start posting short form content, so they'll reward you in the form of engagement and exposure. So if you're a business or a person and you make a post using short form content on one of these 3 platforms, they will be super likely to push your content out. They want to get people to your content. I can make a content about my product, Performance Gum, and TikTok will push it out to a couple thousand people. And then that's a couple thousand people that had no idea what my product was that now know the product and got it through exposure. And it's all about getting on there and doing it. We look at small businesses, short form content equals loyal customers. By getting in front of their face, getting that exposure that these companies are basically offering out there for free. How to succeed with short form content. Number 1, you start with a hook. You have to lock people in. I recommend for anybody starting to make content for the first time. I hear a lot of people, one of the biggest things I hear is people come to me in the program and they're like, I just really don't want to make content. It's just too hard for me. It's a learned thing for everyone, right? Everyone starts somewhere and has to learn the ropes and how to do it. And by getting on TikTok, by getting on Instagram Reels and seeing what other people are doing, you can start to familiarize yourself with it, get comfortable. But then at some point you have to start creating. And the first thing is start with a hook, something that gets someone's attention. They do not want you to know about this secret. Dive into the product. If you're on the carnivore diet, you need to know this. That could be something for our product, Carnivore Electrolytes. You hook them in, and it's constantly seeing what other people are doing for their hooks and using them. But think about what would capture your attention. If I was on the carnivore diet, I need to know this. Okay, I better keep watching. Something that gets someone's attention. Get people's attention, lock them in, and keep going from there. And so once you get the hook, you've got to keep the engagement high. Keep the story. You can't drag on. It's short form content. You keep the idea and you condense it down and you make it work. You got to be careful with every single line. Don't say anything that doesn't need to be said. You're keeping the elements of the story without any of the bloat around it. Number 3, as I mentioned, copy what others are doing. Funnel hacking and short hacking is the best thing you can possibly do in the space. If someone has a video that went viral, how do you go viral? You borrow from their success with your product. For instance, you see someone that promoted their product and you say, okay, well, let me take this same idea and bring it over to my market and use it to promote my product by saying the same hook they used, by doing the same storyline, but shifting it around to yours. The whole space is constantly about borrowing and taking inspiration for others, putting it into your own words in order to grow your product. Number 4, great strategies, creating a loop. If you use short form content, you know it when they go around to the end of the video and you don't realize it ended because it connected together. So starting it off, ending it in a way the video loops and you can keep watching it without realizing it. The algorithm basically will keep showing a video up more and more depending on how many people stayed watching it for the first 5 seconds. That's basically the stay on rate. And then the retention rate. How many seconds did they stay on the video for? And if they stay on for more than one go around, you're getting an over 100% retention rate. And that is amazing for the potential for your video to go viral. Number 5, post daily at least. These programs reward consistency. If you're posting on TikTok, Instagram, get a post up every single day and the algorithms will reward you. With our YouTube channel, the more we post, the more exposure we get. And that's because YouTube is rewarding us for being consistent and posting all the time. And the same thing can be the case for you. Now, so many people worry about getting started. They're like, oh, I'm just not good at it. No one's good at it to get started. I wasn't good at any of this stuff when I was getting started, and it just took practice. It took creating, figuring out what's working, diving into the space. But if you aren't making content on social media, you are leaving so many customers on the table. You're like, I can't even tell you how much exposure you're missing out on. So if you aren't successful and you aren't using social media, then the number one obvious thing to do would start short form social media. And then the biggest one, number 6 here, is always have an offer. Another problem, if you're posting on social media and you don't have anything to direct people to, It's wasted customers. You can't just hope those people are going to come back. You have to have an offer. An offer can be as simple as join my email list. That's an offer. If you aren't selling your product yet, at least be building an email list. My product creation group, where you can funnel people to a group. It can be pre-order my product on Kickstarter. You can drive people to a pre-order of a product. Or it could be buy my product on Amazon. But there needs to be an offer that you're channeling people towards, so all this traffic isn't for nothing. You gotta have a call to action. And if you put all these things in action, daily posting, looking what others are doing, good hooks, good engagement, and always having an offer, then you will have success with short form content. The next thing we want to talk about is utilizing influencers. Influencers can be your best friend. People buy their favorite creators' products their favorite creators recommend. Right here we can see The Rock and his tequila brand. What does The Rock know about tequila? I don't know, but he's got a lot of followers and people buy his tequila because they know him and they know his brand. Mr. Beast over here in his chocolate. What does Mr. Beast know about chocolate? I don't know, but he has an audience that will buy his product given who he is. So influencer marketing is the big thing in 2025. It's only going to continue to grow. And tapping into influencers to promote your product is one of the best things that you can do. And some people, if you're really, really afraid to make short form content, you can have influencers do it for you, which we'll talk about in a second. Although I recommend you tap into both. So let's take a look right here at this myth. You need a large budget to work with influencers. This myth is completely false. And the secret is micro-influencers. If we look at this graph right here, the types of influencers, this is a little graph from Social Pilot right here, and they show this graph. We're focusing on the bottom half. We're focusing on that 100,000 to 10,000 and that 1,000 to 10,000. These are influencers that we can easily tap into that will promote our product that we don't need to have a ton of money to work with, and we can still have great results. So let's look at how that is. Why micro-influencers? Number one, it's easy to connect and access them. You can message them, they'll get back to you, they're eager to work with you, they're reliable. A lot of micro-influencers are just eager to do deals. They have to be reliable if they want to get deals. They don't have the abundance of being a super in-demand person, so they have to be reliable if they want to get deals. There's a lot more micro-influencers than there are macro-influencers, so you can stack and work with 10, 20, 100, 1,000. We've probably worked with 500 influencers for carnivore electrolytes because there's tons and tons of these micro-influencers we can work with. And then utilize large numbers. If they're abundant, we can utilize this and work with large numbers of them. And the best thing, number 5, is micro-influencers will do free or for product deals. Meaning, if you're working with a macro-influencer, they might say, okay, I'll do a post, pay me $100,000. And you're like, oh, I don't have that. But micro-influencers are oftentimes willing to do deals just for product. You can set them up with an affiliate code to make a percentage of the sales they bring in and a free product, and they're super happy. For instance, when I was doing Performance Gum, the NIL had just come into effect. And if you don't know what the NIL is, it's basically college athletes can now do brand deals. And a lot of these college athletes were just super eager to do a brand deal and make a post and say, oh, I'm sponsored, right? And so I did so many for-product deals where I'd send product to these influencers, they'd make a post, and we do have a great deal right there. I was able to work with 100 plus influencers because of this. So this is the key. Using micro-influencers, tapping in, getting out there, finding people in your space. What we do when I get started is I make a big spreadsheet of just everybody in my space I'd love to work with. TikTok Shop has built-in mechanisms to connect with influencers in the space. We did a video for Levanta. They have similar things to connect with influencers. But part of it is just finding people on these platforms, searching TikTok, finding people, and then reaching out. That's the key right here. Then finally, as we talked about, is a product launch group. Now, product launch groups are great. Product launch groups are what we do for most of our product launches. And here we can see our one for carnivore electrolytes. What is a product launch group? Now, a product launch group, what it does is it allows you to get people behind the scenes in the process early. So you want to launch your product, right? Let's just say you aren't ready to manufacture yet, or you want to get people building while you're manufacturing. While you're posting on social media, you feed people into your product launch group, and that's where you can share the behind the scenes of your product. And number one, you can get feedback on your product. You can say, hey, what color's better? What logo's better? You can send your product to people. You can get feedback on that. Number two is people love being a part of something. So if you're in a product launch group from the beginning and you get to help out in the creation of the product, when you finally go to sell the product, you're gonna be so excited to order the product. You're like, hey, I was a part of making this. I'm so happy. And so I did this with my product, Performance Gum, and we channeled it and we raised about $3,000 on a Kickstarter from what we did and had a great launch on Amazon. Travis did this and raised over $15,000 for Performance Nut Butter. And it's about getting people involved early, bringing them behind the scenes of the process, and that builds a lot of reciprocity that they will then give to you when you finally launch on Amazon. So we started a different TikTok for each of the products we launched. So I showed you could check out the carnivore electrolytes. I believe it's carnivore.electrolytes. You can check out cocktail cards, just at cocktail cards. But just follow as many people in the space and they're gonna be a lot of great inspiration. All right, guys. Well, I hope you enjoyed the social media. I'm gonna turn it over to Cam now.
There are 5 steps that we're going to talk about to legally set up your Amazon business. So we're going to first set up the business entity, the structure of the business. Then you want to get your EIN, which we'll talk about in a second, get your seller permit depending on where you're located. And the next thing will be set up your business bank account and then get a business credit card. So let's dive into it. So the first one is starting your business structure, your business entity, and there's different ways to set that up. So the first one that I'm going to talk about is setting up your business as an LLC. I get questioned all the time about, should I wait till I find the product to name my LLC? Should I wait before I name my LLC and create a structure so I have all the names in sync with each other, with my trademark, with my Amazon store, with all of that? What I would suggest is you want to create an LLC that's personal to you, has nothing to do with the product that you're looking for. So create an LLC, like for example, Cam Enterprises LLC. And what would that do is that it creates an umbrella, okay, that's going to separate your personal assets from your business assets. So now your Cam Enterprises is going to be what you do to create your business under. So if you're creating an Amazon product, it can fall under that. If you're creating a service type business, it can fall under that. If you're trying to create anything else, if you're trying to create multiple brands that you want to sell on Amazon, it could fall under that LLC. You don't want to go and limit your LLC to one service or one industry, to one thing, because throughout your life, especially if you're taking this entrepreneurial journey, if you're jumping into different business ventures, you know, and maybe, for example, you want to do like what we're doing. We're launching several products. We launched 3 products this year or last year. We put them all under, you know, the same business structure because you could do that. So under that, you can have a DBA that is aligned with one business. Let's say that we could list it to the products that we have. You could have a DBA that's under carnivore electrolytes. You can have another DBA that's for berberine tea. You can have another DBA for cocktail cards. Let's say you want to start, you know, multiple different brands as you're growing. So you could create a DBA, which I'll get into a second. So there's different types of business structures. The first one and the most simple one is an LLC. Because especially as a person, if you're an individual who wants to start a business, you want to start with an LLC and you're going to be a sole proprietor. And what that means is that you're an individual who has a business entity. And this is a limited, that's what an LLC stands for, is a limited liability company. It offers more legal protection than a DBA. A DBA doesn't offer any legal protection. However, if you're doing it under your LLC, it will protect you, separate you from your personal assets. However, you could do a DBA without an LLC. And you could do that just to separate your business structure separate from your personal structure. So you can separate your business, bank accounts, credit cards, name, all of that. You could do it under a DBA. And DBA stands for doing business as. And you could do business as in any name. So I could be just an individual. I don't have any business structure. And I could be doing business as something else. And I can name it anything I want. I can open a bank account in that name so I can receive checks or payments that are in my business's name. So an LLC is different because it's a limited liability company. It separates your business assets from your personal assets. For God forbid, if you ever get sued, it separates from your personal assets. A DBA by itself does not. However, if you have a DBA under your LLC, now you're protected. The cool thing about having an LLC under your name is that you can build so many different things under it. Now, let's say, for example,
you have an LLC, and I have an LLC called Cam Enterprises, and I start Carnivore Electrolytes as a DBA under it. I create a trademark, I start selling. Now Carnivore Electrolytes is making me, let's say, 6 to 7 figures a year, and I want to separate it from this LLC. I want it to have its own LLC. I could do that at that point. Now it's making a lot of money. It makes sense to separate Carnivore Electrolytes. Now I can get a lawyer. I can have someone, an accountant, someone professional who can come and help me create a separate LLC just for Carnivore Electrolyte. Having one LLC also allows you to build your business credit. Let's say, for example, the next thing that you do when you set up an LLC is setting up an EIN number. An EIN number is an employer identification number, and that is like having a social security number for your business. When you have a good credit for your business, it allows you to apply for credit cards that have large sums of balance on it. You have large credit that allows you, to purchase large orders, to purchase services and whatnot. It just gives you more cash flow for your business. And the benefit of that is that it allows you to pay upfront for certain things, especially when you're selling on Amazon. Amazon pays you twice a month. They pay you in the beginning of the month and they pay you towards the end of the month. And the way they do that is, so they're saving so much money in the Amazon account, and then they transfer that money. So sometimes you want to make purchases, you want to have cash flow between those areas where you don't have access to the money that you're receiving. So this is where having business credit cards comes in very handy. And having business credit allows you to have more cash flow. As your business grows, as you have more expenses, you want to purchase a bit larger production number, you want to order more units, having business credit allows you. Now, when you have an LLC and you're creating different DBAs under it, you can tap into that business credit because you're growing it over time. So when you start creating different DBAs, like we jump into berberine tea from Carnivore Electrolytes, now we put it under a DBA under the same LLC, Cam's Enterprises. I can tap into Cam's Enterprises EIN credit, credit score, and get, sums of money for credit to fund this new idea, which once it grows, I can then separate it. I wouldn't have an issue separating it because it's gonna grow very quickly as it's doing good business, as it's turning over a lot of sales and whatnot. So the first thing that I wanted to mention is the fee for an LLC can range from around $150 to $800, depending on what state you're in, what that state, charges for an LLC, or if you're paying for a service for someone, a professional service to issue you an LLC, it could cost a bit of money. Like here in the state of California, we have to pay $800 a year just to do our taxes if you own an LLC. The next thing is the DBA, which I was talking about, which is doing business as. Now, a DBA doesn't cost a lot of money. It costs less than $100 to set up. It's very easy. Doesn't provide any legal protection, like I was saying. But if you're doing it under an LLC, you are still protected because you are covered by the limited liability company. However, you could do a DBA if you don't want to spend money and get an LLC. You could do a DBA under your name as a personal DBA, which allows you to do business in a different name, to receive checks and money and open a bank account in a different name. And it's a lot cheaper than doing an LLC because an LLC comes with some cost. Now, this could be a good route if you don't want to spend too much money upfront on an LLC and getting it set up and whatnot. You could get a DBA, and as soon as your business is turning a bit of money, you could use some of that money to start an LLC. However, it does not protect any legal protection. So that's really important to know. If someone sues your business, they can go after your personal assets, unfortunately, and we don't want that to happen. An S-Corp is different. So now business structures can get a bit more complex if you have partners, if you want to be taxed differently. An S-Corp is basically an LLC that's charged or is taxed as an S-Corp. If you're an individual, start with an LLC, and once your business grows, you can talk to a tax expert, a tax advisor, who can advise you on how to get taxed as a business entity. And there are different business structures on how to get taxed. So there's an S-Corp, there's a C-Corp, and there's partnerships that get involved in different business structures. So I wouldn't go deep and think about that. If you're an individual, You can start an LLC and get taxed as a sole proprietor, as an individual. This is the easiest way to start your business structure. Because an S Corp does cost a bit more money and there's more work that needs to be done in order to tax those, business structures properly. So I wouldn't get more complex. I know some people do advise, start a business structure and make sure that it turns into an S Corp. Now, it is important once you start making more money, you do want to change the way you're taxed, the way your business is taxed for many reasons. So we spoke about the EIN briefly. The EIN is the Employer Identification Number. And this is like your social security number, but it's for your business. It's like building credit for your business. When you get an EIN, you need it to open a bank account for your business. So when you're opening a bank account under your business's name, which you can do using your LLC, or you could do it using your DBA. When you do that, the bank account is going to ask you for an EIN number. And the way to do that, it's very simple, it's free, and you can get it straight on the irs.gov website. There are services that can do that for you as well. There's so many tutorials on YouTube that can show you how to do it step by step. And there's even instructions on the IRS website. If you go to irs.gov and follow the step-by-step instructions that's provided there, it's really easy. But it's very important because you want to start building that credit. Because the banks, in order for them to give you credit cards with large sums of credit, they need to know what's your credit history. Similar to your having individual credit cards, your business needs to have business credit cards. And this is the way the banks know your credit history, if you're paying on time, how much cash flow you're spending, how good your credit is, and whatnot. And this takes me back to what I was saying earlier. This is why it's good to have one LLC structure where you start opening DBAs under it if you're going into launching several brands, let's say on Amazon. You start with one DBA, but you're benefiting from your EIN. Now, your first DBA under your LLC is going to start building your business credit. When you start launching multiple products or multiple brands, your EIN credit has grown since your initial launch. So now you have access to more credit through the banks, more money, more cash flow, which is going to allow you to grow your business. Also going to allow you to grow that initial business brand or that initial product that you're launching on Amazon. The next thing is a seller's permit. So a seller's permit really depends on which state you're living in. And getting your seller's permit is completely free. It's really easy to get it done, to apply for it. There's so many tutorials online where you can go and watch a video or just do a simple Google search and you'll find a ton of information on how to do it on your state's website. You can find a ton of information on how to apply for it. It's really easy obtaining a seller's permit. You could do the research yourself. It also depends on what state you live in, what city you live in, and if you need it. Reminder, be aware of services that offer to assist you with the process for a fee. Remember, obtaining a seller's permit is something you can handle on your own without spending any extra cash. Do not pay for a seller's permit, for this is free and it's really easy to get. So remember that you don't have to pay any fee. If somebody or a website is telling you that you have to pay a fee to set up your seller's permit, they're trying to scam you, or they're trying to fool you, or they're trying to charge you money, but you don't have to. You can do it. It's really easy. Having a seller's permit allows you to comply with state's sales tax regulations, ability to grant you tax-exempt purchases, which is really cool. So if you're buying products through a supplier and you show them that you're tax exempt, you could buy your product tax-free, and when you sell it, you're going to tax your customers. So you end up saving money. This is really good if you're placing your first initial order, that you don't pay taxes on that, because anyway you have to tax your customers. So that's some money that you save up front when you have that. A lot of people are not aware of this, and they end up paying for taxes when they place their order, which is an extra expense that you don't have to spend. This is something that most new Amazon sellers do not know. And that is, when you go to Alibaba, before you place your first order, make sure that you apply for the tax-exempt certificate or the tax-exempt program on Alibaba, because the way you do it is by having a seller's permit. Once you apply for that, Alibaba does not charge you tax on those orders. And you can place, as big of an order as you want, tax-free, which is amazing. That's money that you save upfront. Most people don't do that, and they end up paying taxes, which is money that you didn't have to pay. When you sell your products, anyway, you're taxing your customers. So it's really something that you need to take advantage of to avoid that. And here in the US, it's very known. You give it to your suppliers. They see your seller's permit. They're gonna, give you the products tax-free. So that is something to be aware of. The next thing is setting up your business bank account. Like I said earlier, keep your personal business expenses separate from your business expenses, separate from your personal. This is great for tracking your business expenses. So when you do your taxes, it's a lot easier to manage. It's a lot easier to handle. You can just give all your transactions to your accountant and they can do your taxes for you at the end of the year. Now, when you open a bank account, a business bank account, you do need your EIN and you need your DBA or LLC documents that you filed for. Once you give those to the bank, they will, open your business bank account. I recommend US Bank. It's a free business account. They're very great customer service. I'm not affiliate or anything by them, but I do like working with them. The next and the last step is get a business credit card. And obviously the benefit of setting up a business bank account is the business credit card. And this is what's going to allow you to have more cash flow for your business. If you need to spend money on services and inventory, this is a great way to tap into that, especially as your business is growing. Having a credit card is going to allow you to have more cash flow, allows you to grow. And also you can benefit from all the rewards that you can get from spending money on the business anyway that you're going to spend. So that's money that you can put back into your pocket. A lot of big banks are giving back 1.5% to 2% cash back on all purchases. So this is really great. That's money that you can have back, that you can use it for either more business purchases that you can invest back into the business, or you can use it for your personal travel and leisure and whatnot. So those are really great benefits that you can get from having a business credit card. And most importantly, it allows you to scale and grow. Like that's the most important thing from having a business credit card. Without it, it's a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of beginner Amazon sellers run into this mistake, is that they get stuck and they can't order more inventory. Now, yes, we do talk about in the course, we do talk about ways of launching your business debt-free, with $0, creating a funding through Kickstarter or Indiegogo, and doing pre-launching campaigns, which are great for launching your business. However, once your business is set up and you want to grow it, having a credit card is really, really important because it's going to allow you to scale and grow and place bigger orders. And a lot of great things is most business credit cards, or most credit cards, you can get them for 0% interest rate for the first, 15 to 18 months, which is awesome. So basically you can get things at cash value for the first year if you use it wisely. Now, definitely use these things wisely. You don't want to overspend more than what you have, but it is something that you benefit from, and it becomes very, very important as you scale. The next legal aspects that I want to touch is patents and trademarks. A patent is something that will protect your product. It can protect there's different types of patents that you can apply for, and they're important to avoid any product fraud, so to avoid any people from stealing your product idea and copying you and potentially selling it. And there's different ways that you can apply for it. There's a full patent, there's a utility patent, and there is a design patent. And patents can be very expensive. And what you can do is that you can start with a provisional patent, which costs only $75, and it gives you protection for 1 year from the date of submission. And this gives you time before you submit for a full patent, because a full patent can cost at least $10,000. It could take a few years for a full patent to come in place. But once it does, it comes in really handy because it can stop so many competitors from taking advantage and selling the same product that maybe you've innovated or invented or came up with. There's a utility patent that you can tap into, which protects the functional aspects of your product. And there's a design patent, which protects the design of a functional item. And you get the idea. It's really in the name. I think patents are expensive. If your product is highly unique and you feel like you need to submit for a patent, then it might be worth it. Other than that, I don't think it's worth it. It costs a lot of money. It takes a lot of time. Not all businesses are going to get attacked, and not all attacks are going to be, in disadvantage to the business. There's so much competition. Wherever we go, people are going to copy each other. This is just the nature of having a business. It's not a bad thing. That's why we teach branding. We teach how to do things the right way. And most importantly, we teach how to have a powerful business presence on Amazon and outside of Amazon. So if somebody comes to try to compete with you, they won't stand a chance. Provisional patents cost $75 and can provide 1 year of protection. That could be worth it just to kind of set things for 1 year. It's more affordable. It can protect you, give you a head start, and allow you to, to fight if there's any other competitors before filing for a full patent. Because a full patent could cost you more than $10,000. And it requires lawyers' involvement and legal assistance. Trademark. Trademark is really, really important, especially when launching on Amazon. A trademark protects your brand name, your logo, or a phrase that's essential for building your brand. It's required to become brand registered with Amazon, which offers several perks that otherwise you wouldn't have access to. So Amazon gives you access to so many features that if you're not brand registered, you wouldn't otherwise have access to. And it can set you, worlds apart from other competitors. Because in order to be brand registered, first of all, you need to have a trademark. And the cool thing, and a lot of new Amazon sellers don't know this, and we share with our students, is that having a trademark, you don't have to wait till your trademark is approved to be brand registered with Amazon. Amazon has gotten so much better, and they're pretty cool about it. As soon as you have a trademark that's processing, you can apply for a brand registry, which is really cool because it allows you to be brand registered so much sooner than before, where you had to wait till your trademark got approved before you apply for a brand registry. Now, brand registry gives you an edge because now you become the brand owner of that, brand name, your logo, your design. It also allows you to have a storefront on Amazon. It allows you to have A+ content. It allows you to do brand ads and so much more that otherwise, you wouldn't have. And Amazon does promote more brand registered accounts or listings than they do if you're not. There's two types of trademarks. There's an image mark and there is a word mark. The image mark, they're both in the name. The image mark is design and logo that you're trademarking. The word mark is a specific word or a phrase. And a trademark is really affordable. It can cost you only $275, and it gives you that peace of mind. And it gives you the advantage of being brand registered on Amazon, which is really, really cool. We highly recommend that if you're launching on Amazon, to get a trademark to kind of protect your brand name and logo and to get access to the brand registry. So having said that, trademarks also allows you, if other people are to come and try to copy your listing on Amazon, it allows you to stand out as the brand owner of a specific product. Some people might come and try to copy your exact listing, which I've seen happen before. Now, you have to be careful. When you're selling on Amazon, you want to make sure that you don't allow other sellers sell your product. You could do that. Other people do that. It's called retail arbitrage, where you're selling other products on Amazon, other people's products. You can copy their listings, sell the same exact product. Being brand registered can allow you, to kind of stop that from happening. It gives you more regulatory on the Amazon platform. Amazon sees you as an independent, brand registered brand owner, and they give you more treatments. They give you special treatments. They want to help you. They might assign someone in the customer service to be assigned to your brand or your account or your store to help you. This is really important. Just to recap everything that we talked about. So there's 5 things to keep in mind, and I'll go back to the original slide. So setting up your business entity, whether it's an LLC or you just want to do a DBA, which is really not a business entity, it's just doing business as. But like I said before, you can have your DBAs under your LLC. Then you want to get your EIN number, which is free and you can do it yourself. There's a ton of information that you can get right on the irs.gov website. Then you want to get your seller's permit, which is going to save you money and it's going to allow you to purchase products that are tax-free. Then you want to set up your business bank account and apply for those business credit cards, which is going to help you grow and scale your business and maybe just help you with the initial, product purchase or few services that you want to invest in. And you get a lot of points and credit in return for that. And the last thing is a trademark or a patent, depending on your product. This is highly depending on what type of product that you're making. Patents are not for everyone. It's too expensive. It takes a long time to make. It might not be worth it. If your product is highly unique, then maybe. Trademarks, on the other hand, they're highly important. We highly recommend it. It's the only way to be brand registered on Amazon. It is really, really great to tap into those Amazon benefits or features that they give you once you're brand registered. And in order to be brand registered, you need to have a trademark. I'm gonna pass it off to Connor, who's gonna talk about setting up your Amazon listing, and he's gonna talk about the Amazon Seller Central overview.
And before I do explain further about Amazon FBA, I do want to let you know that I am giving out free calls with myself and my team. There's a link down below. If you want my help launching your own Amazon business, you can get a free strategy call by clicking the link down below. And on this call, we'll tell you more about how you can work with us. Now, not everybody that applies for a call will qualify. We only want to work with people that are actually serious about launching Amazon businesses, but click on the link down below to apply. You'll get on the free coaching call, and on that call, we'll come up with a strategy that will help you so that you can launch your own Amazon FBA business.
I will be talking about how you create your product listing and how you manage Amazon Seller Central itself. It can seem pretty daunting at first, but I assure you, the process is actually quite easy once you get in the flow of it. All right, so now that we're right here, we are in the Amazon Seller Central. So if you wanted to sell on Amazon, all you would have to do is go here. You would go to manage all inventory. And once you're over here, you would press the add a product. Now, we'll go over reviewing the Seller Central and how exactly that works in a second. But for now, all you got to keep in mind is add a product to create a product. To start us off here, you can start by doing a couple things. Number one, you could search, or number two, you could do the product IDs. These are the two ways I recommend, unless you have a spreadsheet, although spreadsheets get a whole lot more complicated. So I imagine you will probably be working within one of these two things. So to search for it, you can see if this product is already in the search. So if, for instance, if I searched for carnivore electrolytes right here, if we were looking to sell this product that already exists, but that's not what we're doing here. We will be selling our own product. So we'll be going back over here, and you could enter in basically a GTIN number. Basically, to get to your UPC code, which you'll need to sell, you would need to go to a site like GS1, and you would need to purchase a barcode. Now, barcodes run you about $25. This is a universal product code, a UPC code that you will be able to use to identify your product. When you see a barcode on any product, for instance, this product right here has a barcode right on the back, and this, anyone can scan it and they can know this is this product, and it'll help identify it, especially when you're working in a warehouse. So you'll need one of those in order to sell on Amazon, and you can get one from right there. So let's go ahead and search for a product over here, something that we don't have, and something that, let's just say we're listing. So one of the products we're going to launch in the next couple weeks is carnivore jerky. So let's go ahead and search for it. And we're going to say listing not found and go to create new listing. Now, there's an AI new thing that Amazon will do that will let you generate listing content, but I'm going to skip that for now, and we're going to go to the item name. Now, it's a good idea to be as descriptive as possible for the item name. For instance, this will rank very highly on search, depending on what you put in it. So we said carnivore jerky, 100% carnivore friendly, all natural beef jerky for the carnivore and keto diet. We want to make sure, and then maybe we put a serving size. We say salt and pepper. So we say something like that. It will automatically say a product type. It is jerky, so we will go ahead and confirm right there. Next, we'll do our brand name, and our brand name is Carnivore Electrolytes. I do not have it on this account, so it will ask us to verify the brand. Now, by verifying the brand, all you have to do is upload a photo that has the brand name on the product. So for instance, this product that I've been using an example right here, the brand name is Getty over here in the corner. And so if I were, it will ask me to upload a photo to ensure the brand name is actually printed on the product and that this is a legitimate branded product. So that's what we will do in that case right there. Continuing down here, this is where we'll put the ID. So right here, it will ask for the ASIN or the UPC. Again, if we wanted to do this product, we would have to get this over from GS1. As we don't have it right now, we're just going to go ahead and hit this. I don't have a product ID, but I will recommend that you get a product ID from GS1, and I do not recommend that you do that. So I will go ahead and press next. And as you can see here, it will ask me to apply to sell under this. So it approved the UPC bypassing for us. That just means if we're listing this product on Amazon, we would have to put the FNN SKU number on it instead of the UPC code. Now, Amazon has their own barcoding system called FN SKU, and the FN SKU is just like a barcode, but it's Amazon's individual system that only works for Amazon. Now, it's totally fine to use an FN SKU code, but just note that system is only going to be working on Amazon. So you could not sell that same product somewhere else without instead putting a UPC code over that Amazon barcode. So just something to keep in note. Right here in this next page, we'll put our product description. We want to describe our product as in many details as possible, as this will help it rank on Amazon. So every keyword you use here will help the product rank. And so make sure using tools like Helium 10 will help you really do this to the max, to use all the keywords and descriptions that you need to best rank your product. Next thing you'll do bullet points. Bullet points are the shorter things that show up near the top of the page that highlight the product. So we might say 100%, all natural, and then we do a little blurb about it. Jerky from all natural cows, and then we can go next bullet, and we could say pasture raised, cows raised on grass-fed farms and cage-free. And then we can go next bullet, and we could say 100% carnivore friendly. And we continue on the way down here, filling out images, and also some more details may pop up as you need them. Keywords, once you launch, will allow you to put keywords on here as well. Now, for images, images are one of the most important things when it comes to your Amazon listing, because people cannot try your item before they purchase it. They can only see it. So the perception they get from the images is really important. So it's really important you invest some time into creating great images for your brand listing. Now, what I would recommend is FBA creatives. Now, FBA creatives are what we use for our listings. If you're looking to get your listing images made, FBA creatives will basically, you can send pictures of your product, what it does, and they will take it the rest of the way. The graphic designing team is the same team that we use to do our products. And we can create great listings that look good. If we take a look at the carnivore electrolytes listing right here, we can see these great images, right? They really hide the product. They seem like they're targeted towards the carnivore diet with everything about them. And this can be very, very useful. But moving on, product identity, we go back here. We've done this already. Let's go to product details. Now this, we're going to have to enter in a lot of information. First thing right here, we're going to have to enter in that is manufactured from carnivore electrolytes, right? Same brand. We could say the carnivore company. We could say whatever. You can use your manufacturer or your manufacturer's doing business as name. Number of items, it's only one. We're selling a pack of one in there. Number of pieces, is it heat sensitive? Temperature rating. Once you hit no, you can say it's good at room temperature. Then we can indicate how much the serving quantity is and fill in all the information about the product that goes on the nutritional label. Now, some of this isn't required, but I do recommend you fill out as much as possible so that the consumers can get as much information and make an educated decision about your product. Then we go down here in flavor, and we would indicate that this product is basically, we'd say it's maybe a peppered or an original flavored, and we'd indicate that. And we put all the ingredients, the unit count. This is how many units are found in each one that someone orders. Each purchase, how many units are found in each one. Is it expirable? You would say yes. And usually, if it's a product like this, we say the expiration is on the package right there, and we put a shelf life of 365 days. However, when you're sending in inventory to Amazon, you will indicate for each batch that you send in when the expiration date is for. Is it a bar, a chew, a stick, or a strip? We do these in strips, and the unit count, again, is 1. But we are doing ounces, and we actually do these in 3-ounce packs. So we would indicate that as that is the best way to do it. The package type, we do this in a bag, and we would indicate any specialties such as grass-fed, pasture-raised, anything like this that would help the net weight right down here at the bottom. And we'd finish filling that out. Next up, we go over here to the offer. The offer right here, we create a SKU. A SKU is your personal identifier for the product. Anyways, the SKU right here is your own identifier. So this is just internally, but we can say, we can just use the code is jerky1, and we'll have to keep that as the identifier. Now, we have 2 options here. I will ship this item myself, or Amazon will fulfill it for me. This is FBA, fulfilled by Amazon, and what we like to do to have them handle everything. We'll go ahead and check this box, and now all we'll have to do is give our price up here at the top, and the offer condition, we'll select it as new, and we'll put in the dimensions. This is the front-facing dimensions for customers, and this is the dimensions that Amazon will use for the fulfillment to calculate the FBA fees along with the weight down here. Once we fill that out, we'll go over to this page where we'll fill in the safety and compliance information. Its product is created in the United States. It has no dangerous goods regulations. We'll enter in the weight, and oftentimes more items will pop up here as you fill out the things on the other sheet, such as, does this item need batteries? Are there any allergens, right? This information will continue to fill out as you fill this out. Make sure to keep notice they'll come in. Once you've filled out all this information and there's no errors remaining, all you have to do is hit submit, and within an hour, Amazon should have processed through and will make your listing live on Amazon. So it's a very simple process. You'll just have to follow through and go through it. You cannot create AI style images. They cannot look like illustrations. Now, what a lot of people do and what most people do, and what we do at FBA Creatives is we do 3D mockups, but they have to be very realistic 3D mockups and appear to be the real photo. They cannot be AI created, as that will not work, as anything that like seems like it's not real will be automatically rejected and could risk your account getting a strike against it. So because we aren't posting this right now, I'm going to navigate back, but I just want to show you around Amazon Seller Central to show you a little bit of how it works. Your dashboard here will show you some key figures right here. You'll see your sales for the current day and time period right now, so we can see how the scales are trending across the past week. You can see your total balance. You can see your seller feedback. As people rate your seller feedback, you can manage your feedback over here and get into it to manage the feedback right there. Very interesting things. You can see your ad impressions, ad sales, all sorts of great information. But for this case, let's navigate back over here and go to manage inventory. This is the most important screen for me right here. And from here, I can see how my inventory is doing. I can manage the price. I can change the price right here. I can set a minimum and maximum price if I'm competing against other sellers to price my product accordingly to try to win the buy box. I can see what my Amazon fees are for each product. I can see how much inventory I have available and also inbound, unfulfillable, and reserved. And as I click in here, I can get a more detailed report. I can do the same for each product. And if I want to go into each product individually, I can click on the SKU, wait for it to pull up, and I can see the breakdown, the day-by-day sales for the product, as well as down here, I can see the cost breakdown where I can even go in here and enter in the cost of goods sold so I can know how much profit I'm making for this product. I can expand this out for a custom date range or any other date range in here, and then we can also navigate back here to the main view. Now there's a couple other things in here that you'll want to make sure you know how to use for Amazon. One of them is the campaign manager for advertising. This is where you'll manage your PPC campaigns and advertisement campaigns for Amazon. We'll talk more about this later, but just note that it's over here. A+ content manager, this will manage your A+ content, which can be very important for your listing. Vine will enable you to get free reviews from customers on Amazon in exchange for your product given out to them for free and paying a fee up front. Deals and coupons can be great to help promote sales. Prime discounts, this will allow you to set your subscribe and save deals. For instance, you can take 10% off your product if someone opts to do subscribe and save on it. Prime exclusive discounts for things such as Prime Day and the other discounts that Prime offers, and promotions down here at the bottom if your item is eligible. So that is all very helpful. Stores, to manage your store page and make it look very good. If someone clicks on go to store, they can see all of your products. Growth opportunities, this will show you anything that Amazon recommends that you do to grow your product. If, for instance, it'll say, we need to do a campaign, sales campaign, change something, enroll in Vine, anything like this, it can all be, very, very helpful. Payments, this is where you manage your payments. And one of the other important things to manage your reports and everything is your, if we go down to performance reports, go to business reports. And this is where you can manage your sales and performance over time and actually see them. We go week to date, we can bring this out, we can see the sales, and we can change the report to get exactly what we need right here. So this about sums it up of how to use your Amazon Campaign Manager. You can add products right here as we went over, pricing health, manage your health. You can also manage your reviews and feedback around here too, to help manage it when customers leave reviews that you need to contest or change for any reason. Again, if you're interested in hearing all of this step-by-step in even more detail, our Amazon program is open right now with a few spots left. Click that link and join a spot. I'd love to have you in the program and help you on your Amazon journey. So make sure to check that out and join if you want to get mentored by us and if you want our step-by-step plan to make it happen. With that being said, I'm gonna turn it over to Cam real quick.
All right, so we're gonna talk about shipping to Amazon warehouse, and I'm gonna do a live example to show you how we ship products to Amazon. So the first thing that you wanna do when you ship a product is that you wanna go to the top left menu and you wanna go to inventory and click on manage all inventory. The next thing that we're gonna do, and I'm gonna show you how to ship, we're gonna ship one of our carnivore electrolytes, is that you're gonna hit the options menu on the right side and you're gonna hit send or replenish inventory. The next thing is that you're gonna do is make sure that your ship from address is accurate. You're gonna set up your packaging detail. So there is different ways to do this, and you can set up different templates for your shipping product. So basically, every product that you have listed in Amazon has its own FNSKU barcode. And what that means, when you buy a product from a manufacturer and you want to list it on Amazon, you need something called UPC barcode. And that is it's the universal product code. Basically, it is the signature or the barcode that is on the back of every product when you check out. So when you want to sell online or you want to sell on retail, your product has to have its own unique UPC code. And when you create a listing on Amazon, Amazon is going to ask you for that code. So when you set up your listing, you put in your UPC code on there. Now, once the listing is created, Amazon gives you your own unique barcode. That's called the FNSKU barcode. So each listing has its own FNSKU barcode. You want to make sure that every unit of your product has that barcode on it. So when Amazon receives your shipment, they will scan that barcode and know that this product belongs to your listing. Now, this goes on every unit, right? Once we made sure that we have that, we want to create a shipment label for an entire box. So now we're putting multiple units of the product. We're putting multiple units of carnivore electrolytes, which in average, we put 45 units in one box. So now we're shipping this box that has 45 units, and each unit has the FNSKU barcode on it. And the way to get that shipping label is through this. So once we went to send replenish inventory, you come here and you want to enter the information of your shipping box. Two things to keep in mind when you're shipping a box to Amazon. The first thing is that each box has to weigh less than 50 pounds, and each box has to contain less than 150 units. That's just the regulations from Amazon. Once you have that, now you can come here and create the template for your box. Now, boxes are different. So, you come here, you give it a name. So every time you come back, if you're using the same boxes, or maybe you have different types of boxes, maybe you have big boxes, small boxes, medium boxes, maybe you want to have different templates, you can create multiple templates. So you want to create a name so that when you come back, you know which box is that. You put in the number of units, you put the dimensions of the box, okay? And usually it goes by length, width, depth, or height. And you put in the weight of the box, and you put who puts labels on the products. Ideally, you want to make sure that every unit inside the box has its own FNSKU barcode on it. If it doesn't, and you left it either blank or maybe you left your UPC codes on there, Amazon is going to ask you, do you want to put your FNSKU barcodes on it, or do you want us to do it for you? If you let Amazon do it, they're going to charge you 55 cents per unit. For a box of 45 units, I'm going to be paying 55 times 45, which is going to come about to $20 maybe. Why do I want to spend $20 on top of the shipping fee per box, before I start selling my product? That's going to add up really quickly. The cheapest way to do it, and this is like a little tip or a little secret that you could do, instead of printing your UPC barcodes on your product or having nothing, design the FNSKU barcode that Amazon gives you. So once you have your packaging designed with an FNSKU barcode, you go ahead and when you manufacture your product, your FNSKU barcode is already on there and it costs you nothing. Now, on the offset of you not having a packaging design, maybe you're putting them in plastic poly bags or something else. I don't know what, there's so many different situations. Your situation could be different. Now, you could ask your manufacturer to print out the barcodes, the FNSKU barcodes, and put them on your packaging. That is still cheaper than having Amazon to do it. So make sure that you do that before you ship to Amazon, before you place your product order with your manufacturer. Make sure that you have your design ready. Set up your listing. Your listing can be set up way ahead of time. You could set up your listing 3 months in advance. All you need is just an image, and it doesn't have to be the same exact image that you're going to use when you launch your product. This will save you a lot of money. So now we have our FNSKU barcode printed on the unit, so we don't have to have Amazon. So I select who labels units. We put it by seller. That's me. So I've created my template, and you want to save it or whatever. It's already in there. I'm just going to go ahead and close it. Now, Amazon's going to ask you, how many boxes do you want to ship to the warehouse? Let's say hypothetically, I'm going to ship 10 boxes. So it automatically estimates 10 boxes are 450 units. And then you're going to hit ready to send, and it gives you this little check mark next to it. And that means that Amazon has approved your template. It has approved the number of units that you want to ship. It has approved this shipping template. Sometimes Amazon is going to tell you, no, you're shipping too many, or there's something wrong in there. You might have to go and check what is exactly happening. Maybe the dimensions of your box is too big, or maybe the quantity and the dimensions and the weight of the box don't add up. Now you put confirm and continue. Now, a little tip, speaking of FNSQ barcodes, if you're doing retail arbitrage, you want to put your FNSQ label on top of your UPC label. So that's one thing that you have to do. If you're doing your own product, you're the brand owner, or if you're doing private labeling, your FNSQ barcode goes directly on the packaging. It doesn't have to go on top of the UPC. It's better if you don't have it with your UPC. You obviously want to cover, you want to have one barcode on there. And once you hit confirm and continue, you're going to get here, it's going to ask you when do you ship the product. So this is really important. If you're going to ship it this week or today, you can put today's date. If I don't want to ship it today, maybe I want to ship it and it's going to be ready in a couple of weeks. And then Amazon is going to ask you one of two questions. This is if you want to send it to a fulfillment center, or Amazon this year, they started doing what is called AWD, which is Amazon Warehousing and Distribution. This is if you want to store your inventory at the Amazon warehouse. And once you're ready, you can request Amazon to ship your inventory from the Amazon warehousing and distribution to the fulfillment center. The fulfillment center is where Amazon picks, packs, and ships your product to the customers when you get an order. If you don't have inventory at the Amazon fulfillment center, it is not considered that you have inventory. You're out of stock. If you have stock at the AWD, you need to request that it ships to the fulfillment center. So you want to make sure that you select the right distribution center that you're going to send it to. So are you going to send it to the fulfillment center, or are you going to send it to the Amazon warehousing and distribution? If you have a little bit of extra inventory and you want to ship it there, that's fine. That buys you a little bit of time to kind of understand how it works, and it gives you time before you want to ship to a fulfillment center. Now, when you're shipping to a fulfillment center, like I was saying earlier, you can submit how many warehouses you want to ship to. So this saying 2 shipments or 1 shipment. 2 shipments means that you're sending to 2 different fulfillment centers instead of 1. When you select 1, it's a bit more expensive because you're going to send it to 1 fulfillment center and then Amazon is going to distribute it to another. So I do recommend shipping it to as many as you can. If you're shipping from overseas, it does make sense to ship it to 1 location and have Amazon redistribute it later, because it's just much easier to contain a shipment that's coming from overseas. Or you can speak to your freight forwarder. There are 2 different ways to ship your products from overseas. You can ship them by sea, which is cheaper, it costs less, but it takes a bit longer. Or you can ship them by air, which is very fast, but it costs a lot more money. When you're handling shipments from overseas, I do recommend paying a little bit of extra fee for a freight forwarder, a professional logistics company to handle your shipments. So make sure you do your homework, do your research to see what's the best option for you. Some freight forwarders are going to tell you, like, we don't want to do that. It's too complicated. We're just going to ship it to 1 location. It's a lot easier. So we're going to do an example as if we're shipping our products from here, from the US. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ship it to 2 different warehouses. So I'm going to select 2 shipments. Now, you have 2 different options when it comes to shipments. The low truckload or full truckload means that you're shipping a pallet of product to the warehouse. And that requires a different shipping truck than a regular parcel delivery. A parcel delivery, you can just hand them boxes, independent boxes. You can take it yourself to the UPS office, hand it to them, and they will ship your product. A pallet is different because a truck is going to come and they're going to pick up a pallet of product and take it to the Amazon warehouse. It could be a truckload, it could be a full truckload, or it could be a small truck that comes and takes your pallet. So be careful when selecting that option depending on what you're shipping. For 10 boxes, it's not a full pallet, so we're going to choose small parcel delivery. Now, Amazon is going to ask you, do you want to use their UPS preferred carrier, or do you want to use your own carrier? You have an option of using DHL, FedEx Ground, UPS, USPS, and all these options. Now, this is up to you. How do you want to ship it? We found it to cost almost the same. And like I said, we got 2 different locations that we get to ship to. This is Pennsylvania, and this one is going to go also to Pennsylvania, but it's a different warehouse. But that's just going to allow the distribution to go wider. In some cases, you can ship it to multiple states. Sometimes we get options for New Jersey, California, somewhere in the South. It all depends on what Amazon thinks is right to the quantity that you're shipping and to where you're located. So a lot of things play, and depending on where your inventory is distributed to. So if you already have inventory like we do, they might think it's better for us to ship it to Pennsylvania. That's the recommendation they've given us. And here comes the estimate. Total prep fee is $0. The total placement fee is $76, which goes on top of the total for the shipping fee is $242. So my total is $319 to ship this to Amazon. Keep in mind, if you are going to cancel the shipment, you only have, I think, 24 or 48 hours before you get charged this placement fee. The next thing you do is you accept those charges. So it gives you the estimates for each charge over here. And now the next thing, once it finishes accepting this, you want to print the labels. So it takes you to step number 3, which is print labels. So now it's done. It's set up 2 shipments. Once you have your store set up, this is how easy it is. You just place an order with your manufacturer. Once you feel like you're going to run out of inventory, you're preparing for your next shipment, you set up your next order, you come here and you just print your labels. It's really easy. It takes 2 minutes to do this. Now the shipment is ready. You come here and you print your label, and you have 2 labels. So this is the UPS label, and this is the FBA label. This is what Amazon needs to see in order to link that box with your listing. And you're gonna get 1 label for every box. So one shipment has 6 and the other one is gonna have 4 labels. So it says 6 SKUs here, and here it says 4. You wanna make sure that you have your labels, your shipping labels and the FBA label on each box. And then you just take it to the UPS office, and it's as easy as that. Things to check once you're done. So let's go to view tracking details. So now let's say I took the boxes, I went to the UPS office, I've handed it to them, they give you a tracking number. One tip that I'm gonna give you that's really, really important, and this is gonna save you money, make sure that you record everything, okay? Get the receipts from the UPS office, take pictures of the boxes, weigh them, record everything, just in case anything happens to your shipment. Amazon will refund you for those shipments. So one of the things that you want to do is go to shipping queue. So this is where you track all your shipment. It shows you if it's ready to ship. That means it hasn't shipped yet. This is something that's been working on. It shows you if it's in transit. It shows you if it was checked in. That means it was received and it checked in. It shows you here how many units you're shipping. So our example, we put, so 180 plus 270, that gives us 450. And this is the number of units that I put in there. So I have 2 separate shipment lines for the shipment that I just processed. So this is where you track it. This one, it says work on shipment because I didn't print that label. I didn't click on it. So Amazon saw that. So it's telling me to work on the shipment. And then you go and track your shipment. And processing this shipment can take anywhere from 3 to 6 weeks. After that, you start, making sure if Amazon hasn't received it, that's when you follow up with them, ask them about the shipment, what happened. Always be in touch with Amazon seller support if anything is missing, but give it 3 to 6 weeks time, because usually that's how long shipments take. So many delays happen, especially if you don't ship your orders early enough. Even shipments get lost. That's why tracking everything is really, really important. So common mistakes that people do and you can avoid is using an incorrect ship from address. Make sure that you're using a correct ship from address. I've heard this from so many people where they use anything different from where the boxes are shipping from, and this could cause some issues when the boxes are received. Not labeling your units with the FNSKU barcodes, like I mentioned earlier. Each unit has to have the FNSKU barcode. That's the barcode for your listing. One mistake is sending too much inventory to Amazon. Do not ship too much in the beginning before you understand what is your inventory turnover time. And this is very important because after 6 months, Amazon will start charging you a long-term storage fee. And this is a mistake that I had to deal with my first product, which I shipped over 1,000 units to Amazon. But for any reason, your inventory is not turning over. After 6 months, Amazon is going to start charging you long-term storage fees. So it's a great way to avoid that by being careful and shipping, less, maybe 500 units. I think that's the perfect balance at first, especially when you're doing everything for a powerful launch. Another thing is, like, when you ship a pallet to Amazon, you want to make sure that you sign a bill of lading before you ship that pallet. Make sure the driver, when they pick it up, they sign the bill of lading, because that's going to be your record. The bill of lading is like a document that shows what's being shipped and who's picking it up. You can print it yourself, or if you're shipping from your manufacturer, you can have your supplier help you with that. So there's different ways to go about it. Not allowing enough time for Amazon to receive and check in products. So allow 3 to 6 weeks for Amazon to receive your products before you start panicking, if anything. You go to track shipment and it shows you a bunch of statuses. It tells you where your shipment is, if it's in transit, if it's delivered, if it's checked in. So it could be delivered but not checked in. So it takes time for Amazon to check in your products and for it to be available for sale. So it has to go through this entire steps before it's available for sale. It has to be delivered, has to be checked in, then they have to receive it into the warehouse, and then it's available for sale. So there's few steps before you're ready to sell.
I hope this was helpful. I'm really excited to pass to Connor.
First off, I'm going to talk a little bit about brand registry and getting a trademark. And I'm going to go over a little bit of how to actually set it up on your Amazon account and get your trademark. So Amazon brand registry, you can see here, helps you protect your intellectual property, but you'll need to get that trademark going first. While you're still pending as a trademark, you can get brand registry. And sometimes this is good news because sometimes your trademark can take up to a year to get processed by the US Trademark and Patent Office. We want to make sure that we can get you approved right away. So you have two options. First option is you go and you get a lawyer to do it for you. Now, the big con about that is it's expensive. So ideally, you don't get a lawyer, and unless you have a lot of money to spend, and I recommend you file yourself. And I recommend doing it this way because yes, there's a chance that your trademark gets denied, but at the very worst case, and if it gets denied after a year, you can at that point pay a lawyer to help you refile it. But there's a chance that your trademark will succeed the first time and you won't even need a lawyer. So that's something definitely to think about. Sometimes you won't even need a lawyer. So we are on the US Patent and Trademark Office website. So we can go back here, go over to trademarks right here. You can see lots of different things, and you can say, there's two things we can do right here. We can pull up this page right here, and you can search the trademark database. Now, this is very important because you can't file a trademark that already exists. And we want to make sure we're filing a trademark for something that exists, right? Because otherwise there's a conflict and we'll get rejected. For instance, let's just say I looked up Nike here. Nike is a registered trademark for all these things right here. So if we try to start a watch brand called Nike, we can't do it. Entertainment services, can't do that. Sports balls, can't do that. Earplugs for swimming, can't do that. They have trademarks across the industry. So I would not recommend doing that. Also, when it comes to trademarks, there's two different types of trademarks that you can file. The first one is a word mark. A word mark is written out like this. It's just the letters. This protects any use of this word, but it's harder to file. The second type is a logo mark, and we can see a logo mark right here. This is the logo. It's protecting this Nike swoosh and the Nike brand. It's less protective in the sense that it doesn't necessarily just protect the word. However, it is easier to file, especially if you're filing it yourself. So for a lot of reasons, I can recommend filing your trademark this way. So to go back to file, we'd go up here to trademarks. Once you do a search, you can get a lawyer to kind of vet you and let you know that you're going in the right direction, but you should be able to search it yourself, especially if you're filing a word mark in something that seems very unique. Now we can go over to filing online. When we scroll down here, we're looking for the TEAS form. I think we can find it right here. Get index of all TSS. Right here, we can find the application and we can file online. So if we were to sign in right here, all we'd have to do is then go through the steps. It's a $250 filing fee, I believe. There's an extra pro version that's an extra $100 that you might need in some cases. And then once you do this, you should be able to take your trademark number and then you'll be able to go over to Amazon. And with that number, you can sign up for brand registry. Now, brand registry will let you be a non-generic product on Amazon where you have your own brand name. It will let you have a store. It will let you have A+ content. It will let you protect your brand. If someone tries to sell under your listing that's unauthorized or with a counterfeit item, you're able to protect it. Or if someone launches in here with a listing that violates your trademark, you're able to enforce it via in here. So make sure to get your item brand registered. I know you got to pay $250, but in my opinion, it's a $250 that's very worth it, especially if you expect to build a powerful brand. So much about the passion product method is building a brand that's there to last, right? We aren't just building some cheap product to make a quick buck. We're trying to build a brand that we can make big money on, we can expand, we can be proud of, and eventually maybe we can even sell down the line like Travis did with Performance Not Butter. That's a brief overview right now of brand registry and trademarks. Again, it's a pretty simple process. Once you get the form, the questions answer themselves. It's very logical. Okay, yes, what's your brand name? Show your product in use. And you go through and you answer all the questions to the best of your ability and you submit. There's lots of YouTube videos you can follow along as you answer the questions to make sure you're doing them to the best of your ability without a lawyer. And then in 6 months, which it looks like right now with the delays, you'll find out if you were approved or not. If you are approved, congratulations, you just saved thousands of dollars in lawyer fees. If not, at that point, you can see about getting a lawyer and paying the thousands of dollars if it's really worth it to you, or changing and filing for a different trademark. The next thing I'd love to touch on real quick is Amazon PPC. Now, Amazon PPC is so important right now because Amazon PPC will let you spend money on ads on Amazon. So let's just give a little refresh here. Go over to Campaign Manager, and this is where you'll view your Amazon ads campaigns. Now, as I mentioned before, we don't spend that much money on Amazon PPC. Now, the reason for that is by creating a passion product, you can rank on PPC organically. So that is what's really important. So let me go ahead and put it on basically the last 30 days so we can see. Again, as you can see, we spent $890 on PPC for a total on our Amazon account of almost $80,000 on sales. So we're spending about 1% of our revenue on PPC. That is what is so powerful about creating a passion product, a unique product in a market of its own, is we don't have to spend that much money in PPC and worry about losing all of our profit. Our products sell themselves because they have no competition. They are the best on the market and they're the most premium on the market. We run some supportive PPC campaigns, but really, we don't really have to do this at all. The products will do the work themselves and really sell themselves. So definitely something to keep in mind when it comes to creating your product and creating your listing. Running a couple PPC campaigns can be beneficial just to help compete your product a little bit better, stand out, and reach into new keywords. That's what it can be really useful for. So if you want to create a PPC campaign, all we have to do is hit create campaign, and then we'll go right here over to sponsored products, and we'll click in here, and then we create a name for the group right here. We can create something we'll remember. We'll say this is just live stream test, and then we'd select what product we wanted along with the variations if we want to add in variations from our product. But let's just say we just want to do this, and we want to focus on brand building. Now, the easy way to do it is to set an automatic targeting campaign. In an automatic targeting campaign, Amazon will select what they think are the best keywords for you automatically, and they'll go out and they'll target them. This requires no work from you, and you can sit back and let Amazon go to work. Now, over time, this campaign will get better and better. To start out, it's going to be a little bit inefficient. Amazon's still figuring out what your product is, what keywords work, and you can expect to lose money from an automated targeting campaign at first. But over time, the hope is that number one, the campaign gets better, and number two, from running the automatic campaign, you figure out keywords that are working really well that you can further target in with manual campaigns. So I always recommend starting out with an automatic campaign. I also recommend starting out with a default bid when we get down here. This is the bid that Amazon suggests over the top, basically your average bid. And basically a bid is for each keyword, you have a couple placements of sponsored products at the top there. And each product that wants to get one of those sponsored slots has an amount of money that they're willing to pay to get on that. So if one person wants to pay $1, they'll bid $1. But if I bid $1.01, I'll win out over that person. But if another person enters the market and they're willing to pay $1.02, they'll outwin over me. So this is why your bid matters, as it matters how much you'll show up. If you have a higher bid, the more likely you'll get those placements, but the more money you'll spend. A lower bid, the less likely you get those placements, but might result in spending less money. I just like leaving the default because the default is there for a reason. Now, negative keyword targeting. If there's any keywords you know for a fact that you do not want to target, you can put them in here. It could be for many reasons. Perhaps you already have a campaign doing it. Perhaps you know they don't convert well, or it's just a market that you don't want Amazon conflating and accidentally promoting in. So I could say keto electrolytes isn't part of my brand. I don't want to target that because I want people on the carnivore diet, not the keto diet. So we could put that in there and we could hit add keyword, and now it will not target the keyword keto electrolytes. We can also do a phrase. Phrase and exact are the two types of keywords you will find on Amazon PPC. An exact keyword means that it won't target exactly keto electrolytes, whereas a phrase keyword means it won't target any keywords that have the words keto electrolytes in it. For instance, keto electrolyte diet or keto diet electrolytes. That is included within a phrase, and if we wanted to get that more broad band right there, that broad band on that keyword, we could put it in as a phrase negative keyword. Going down here, we can see dynamic bids up and down, dynamic bids down only, and fixed bids. Dynamic bids up and down will allow your bids to adjust up and down, whether when Amazon thinks that you are more likely to have a sale, and down when Amazon thinks you are less likely. Now, the Amazon AI system for advertising is powerful, and I recommend that you go with this top option right here, because it will let Amazon go to work with what it does best. It will, raise your bid sometimes. Yes, it will when you want to spend more, when you're more likely to get a sale, and lower it down when it's not. Otherwise, it's just limiting your power with advertising. I can't think of many reasons that I'd go for the fixed bids unless there's a very, very specific situation. Scrolling down even further, we can see the bid adjustments. Now, the bid adjustments right here, another very important thing right here. In the bid adjustments, you can choose what part of being on the live you want to emphasize. So there's different placement areas where your sponsored listing can show up. So your sponsored listing can show up at the top of the page. It could show up other places on the search, or it could show up on the product pages. So if we navigate back over to Amazon right here, let's just do a little quick search and search for what's a product? Let's just say we're searching for orange juice. We want some orange juice. Now, we see these sponsored listings at the very top of the page right here. There's a few different listings. Very cool. We see them. And then as we scroll down, we see a few different things too. We see these sponsored listings at the bottom. So this is the top of the page right here. This is the rest of search right here, where you see these sponsored listings down here. And then if we were to click onto one of these product pages, we can see sponsored listings on the product pages. So these are the three right here that I would recommend, or that are the three that you can show up under. Amazon will often recommend raising your bid for the top of the search page, right? These are the most valuable clicks because these are the things that people will see right away. Oftentimes people are really likely to make a decision if they see it at the top. Some people won't even realize that it's a sponsored listing and will just see it as the first result and think it's the one that Amazon recommends. So the top of the search results are often the most expensive places to place your product, but they're often the highest converting as well. So right there can be a very, very valuable place to place it. And oftentimes I recommend raising your bid here a lot. Yes, you can do down only, but in my opinion, especially when you're doing an automatic campaign for the purpose of finding keywords and honing in your advertising, the goal is to have as much exposure as possible. And if you can stand the budget, I highly recommend doing up and down so you can do it. Now, when you're down the line and you're focused more on the profitability, yes, it makes sense to make optimizations to your ad campaigns to make them more profitable. But at the beginning, I'm really in the business of I'm going to spend a bunch of money. Even if it's not profitable, number one, it will get my listing sales and it will help that first couple weeks when you're selling on Amazon and you want as many sales to start ranking highly from the get-go. And number two, we're going to start to discover the keywords that work well that we can further target in on those campaigns down the line. Now we can set the campaign name. We're just going to call this Jan 3rd, and we can set the daily budget. It says suggested 15. 15 is pretty low, but just for example purposes, I'll start this. You can see a little estimate, this forecast here. Don't trust these numbers too much. It's not going to know too much until it actually starts running, but we can go ahead and start this campaign. Now, we got this campaign rolling. In the meantime, what we can do is I'm going to show you an existing campaign that we have so I can dive into some of these numbers right here. Let's see right here, Carnivore Electrolytes Auto Test. If we go into this campaign right here, let me back this out, this date range here in a second. So we can see a lifetime of this campaign. We can see all the money we spent. We spent $2,000, made $3,000. So not a very profitable campaign, but the point of this campaign was not to be profitable. This point of this campaign was to rank on some keywords, help us rank for some keywords that we weren't ranking for, to hopefully get some organic keyword sales for down the line. And number two, to find keywords we can further target in. The retarget marketing is really where you can get your best bang for the buck. But let's click on this one more time, and then let's go over to the search terms. We'll do last 65 days. That's not going to include the full campaign, but we can see here. Let's sort by orders right here and sort of going up. And we can see that the biggest keyword of all was carnivore electrolytes which is the product's name itself. It makes sense. They got 30 orders off of this much spend. So about a 57% ACOS. Not incredible, not terrible either. We have some better ones right below it. Carnivore electrolyte without the S has an ACOS, and for those who don't know, ACOS is the advertising cost of sales. So what percentage of our sale are we spending on advertising? So 57% is very high. That's over half the sale we're spending on advertising. Now this product has a high profit margin, so we can afford that. That's not really losing us too much money. But to be really profitable, I recommend something down like this, 14%. This, we're in the green with this. We spent $25 and made about $172 in sales right here. This one right here as well, we spent $35, got 5 sales for a total ad cost of 20. So that's really good. This one, 7%. These are all really good. Magnesium for carnivore diet. And what we can do, if we see these keywords that are working really well, I could take these 2 keywords right here that converted at a pretty good rate right here, magnesium for carnivore diet and this one right here. And I can create a manual campaign where I target those in even more. And with that manual campaign, it's going to go to work to specifically target this, because this automatic campaign has showed these keywords are working well on the automatic campaign. If we do a further manual campaign where we target in even more, we can have even more success with that. So that's something really great to know. Now, I'm going to show you an extra tool. If you guys are on Helium 10, this is what I love using for my ads. It just makes it so easy. All these products behind me, as I mentioned a couple times, these are all of our students who have launched at Amazon before. And we'd love to have you on that wall with us as well. There's like tons more down here. There's lots and lots of products. So if you guys are new here, my name's Connor. I work behind the scenes at Passion Product, managing all of our students and everything going on in our products behind the scenes. So if you guys join the program, I'll be working with you a lot of hands-on working to help you guys have success in your Amazon journey. So make sure to tune in, make sure to join if you're looking to have success selling on Amazon in 2025. Now that we're in Helium 10, another really cool part of Helium 10 is Adtomic. Now, what does Adtomic do? Adtomic is an AI ads manager from Helium 10. So basically, you can transfer your campaigns over to Helium 10. And there are so many little tools in here to make advertising so much easier, especially if you're a beginner, if you don't really know about optimization and everything. And, I actually use this on a different account, so I don't have it turned on here. There is an AI advertising feature with Adtomic where you can put your product in, you can say the ad cost that you're trying to target. So let's just say you're trying to get under 20% ad cost, and you put that in. It will go to work with spending your budget and optimizing it using Helium 10's massive database. This is probably one of the best ways of selling on Amazon and running your PPC campaigns. So especially if you already have Helium 10 account, you might as well tap into this and use it. Definitely something I highly recommend to do and check out. So definitely look into that.
You've made it all the way to this point, which already puts you ahead of 99% of the other beginners out there. Most people don't finish things. They start, they get excited, they watch a few videos, and then they stop. But if you're still here right now, which obviously you are, it means that you're different and you've seen how to find a product, you've seen that this can really work, you've seen the entire process. And because of that, because you're actually someone who follows through, I want to offer something to you. You can book a free call with my team. And we actually have a program where we work with people that we believe are actually going to succeed. And that's a big thing. We don't do these calls with everybody. We don't let everybody join our program. We have a form that you can click down below to fill in. And after you fill that in, if you qualify, which hopefully you will, I mean, the fact that you've made it all this way probably means that you are someone that's going to follow through. Once you qualify, you can book a free call with my team. Now, again, not everyone that fills that out will qualify for a call, but the fact that you made it all the way to the end of this video makes me think that you're someone that could benefit from this free strategy call. And on the call, we'll tell you a little bit about our program and how we can work together. And if it's a good fit, we'll tell you more information about that. And if not, it's a completely free call. We'll give you some strategies. We'll help you out so you can start your own Amazon business on your own. It is a win-win. A big thing is I like seeing people succeed. When people watch my videos, my free videos, I love to see them actually take action. And what I've seen is people that join the Passion Product Accelerator have a 25 times higher chance of actually succeeding. They make less mistakes. And that's why I talk about this so much. That's why I believe in it so much. It's something that I wish I would have had when I would have started. It would have probably saved me tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars. Literally, I made so many mistakes at the beginning, and I don't want you to make mistakes. In fact, I want you to speed up your results, because that's one of the biggest things holding people back that they don't even realize is every day that you're waiting, every month that you're waiting, you're losing out on the profit that you could have been making. So click the link down below, fill out the application, and schedule a call and show up to the call. This is a huge thing that I'm offering for free that nobody else does. So click on that link, schedule a call, and I will see you guys on the other side. Thanks so much for watching this video. Click on that link and schedule a call. Thanks again, guys.